Hello, hello. And as always, I cannot hear the game. What's the cause this time? Oh, I don't have my earbuds in. That would do it. There we go. Also, there's like very little sound going on, so that also doesn't help. Wait, what am I? Am I in the wrong? Oh yeah, I'm in the wrong folder. That would do it. There we go. Okay. So we're doing burner designing today because I want to get at least to green science, maybe. Yeah, probably green science, just to get like a general idea of the spacing. I think I'm assuming the way we'll design it, we'll probably have green science and yellow, green and red science will probably be built at their maximum capacity pretty early because they're really easy to run full speed. Blue science, blue science probably also will be built initially at its max speed. Yeah, definitely, because we only need like, I think we only need like 2 to 3 science per second. Not 2, not 3. We definitely don't need 3. I think we only need like 3 science per second total, which is really, really easy to do for red and green science. Blue's decent, especially since bots can do the second half of it if I do an expansion later. Yellow and purple science, those are going to be built entirely by construction bots, so we don't have to worry about those. But this is what we have so far for the base. Spacing-wise, I don't love it. I haven't decided yet if I want to put things on circuits. That will change the design a lot, but not... I don't think it will change it a ton, at least not to start. But I need to figure out how to do... I don't know how I'll do UPS test. Not sure what UPS test would look like with something like this. There is a very dense way I could build this, though. If I went 2 in, 1 output, it would be really fast to build if I didn't have these vertical rows of coal, but the only time I think I would consider coal on the same belt is early on. Like, pretty much early on. Oh wait, hold on. Someone's asking me about food. Okay. But yeah, there aren't that many designs where I think having self-feeding coal is necessary, but gears are definitely benefit from it. They benefit from it a lot. So you could do, well, there's this option, which is probably going to be really fast to build. Well, fast-ish to build. And then you would sideload the gears at the top, which is kind of nice. The only downside is you don't really have the option for coal later, but we do have the option of maybe sending coal along. Yeah, we do possibly have the option of instead staggering this starting one and then sending coal like through here somehow, probably with like red belts. Actually no, the fact that this design wouldn't be able to continue through with the coal grid is actually pretty rough. Unless we built them in a different spot. There is the possibility of having the coal grid only on like that section, and then the coal line would go through the middle, and then we have like a small base on the other side, which is like my starter build. Because we could have like, we obviously have the on patch thing. We could have like a starter build and then like a bots starter build. Or I guess at that point it's not a starter build, just a base. But let's see, we didn't quite finish the mall either, it looks like, but that makes sense. Because I had to go, I think. It doesn't really need to be perfect. Is this everything? I think because we need so many belts. Yeah, I think, or because none of these run fully, we need a lot of extra belt assemblers, which is a bit annoying, but you know, it's manageable. These also for science. Okay, so these will produce 1 per second, 2 per second. Okay, so this produces all we need, especially with upgrades. I mean, it won't produce at full speed until we get upgrades, but with upgrades, this will ideally, and then we have, oh wait, we need iron to go down there. Something like that. So yeah, with upgrades, this should ideally produce 3 science per second, or be able to produce 3 science per second. These should be the exact same way. So I believe that's more than enough, because we have like 6 hours, and I only need like 30,000 of each science or something, right? Yeah, I think we need less than like 2 science per second. At least on average. We might need a buffer. I might need to have some solution for buffering green and red science, so that way we can overproduce early. Because I don't know if 3 is enough at a steady state. I think that'll depend. That'll depend how much mining productivity I need, because that's the difference between needing 2 science per second and 3. Like just getting 1 or 2 extra tiers of mining productivity, which is a very, very big difference in other requirements. Right now we're just aiming for, I think, to spend like 10 rocket launches or something on infinite research, which is a fair amount, definitely a fair amount. Okay, but that's good. We need to be able to produce furnaces over here, don't we? Huh. Maybe I can swap sides. Let's see, what's on this belt? I think this is supposed to be split gears and circuits, go to both of them. Or maybe this can just be dedicated iron. Let's see, it looks like it looks like I want this to be, this one's supposed to be gear, wait. I don't have iron going down here. What was the small going for? Huh. What was I intending for these to get iron from the belt? That doesn't work then. I don't think that works. I think we can speed up a lot of them substantially if we do an iron and gear belt and then a gear and circuit belt, which sounds weird. Sounds like a weird combination, but I think it's actually good. So we would have something like this, this, and this. So one side we would have gears, iron, and then this one's going to be probably gears on the same side just so it's easier, and circuits. And then everything that needs circuits should be on the top. Everything that needs iron should be on the bottom, just for build speed purposes. Otherwise, I would need to have an input like here on every single one, and I think setting up the splitter works anyway. Also, actually, if I set it up the other way, why did I undo that? Those weren't part of the blueprint. If I set it up with iron on this side, I could actually supplement the iron very easily. Gears are the things we need in the highest throughput aside from iron, so having those on both belts will help a lot. Okay. No, I think that's a good design. So it's basically the same concept. Oh, although honestly it doesn't really matter. Iron might be coming from here. I'm thinking the way it's oriented will probably depend on where science goes. So let's set up some assemblers for science first. There's a couple ways to do this. One of them, obviously, this way, faster to build. Way faster to build. Not expandable, and you have to hand feed it coal, which makes it not actually that much faster to build. So it ends up not being a great option. But we do have the other option of just leaving gaps and then letting bots add the coal filling later. And because we have access to blueprints this time around, I think that will help tremendously. We have an output here, output, and then we just need one input. And then honestly, we could probably reduce the amount of rotation significantly too. Unfortunately, these go on the other side, but those are red science, so that's fine. Input, 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 input. Yeah, if we have everything facing the same direction, it definitely helps with this. Okay, so we would build half of this, I think. That's my idea, right? So when we start this, we just build input, input, output, output. Or maybe I can do this. Can I get a third one, like, temporarily? No, that would be hard to deconstruct. It would be fast to build, though. Would it be faster? Honestly, it might be faster to just build this and then delete it later than it would be to, like, leave the gaps. One of the weird things about just awkward builds, sometimes just like letting go of mouse click, just being able to hold mouse click forever can actually be faster, even if it means you have to delete stuff. But it does seem wasteful. Well, it wouldn't be wasteful because it would get me science faster. Let's just go with the normal design. Normal design. Okay, and then to start it, if we wanted to speed things up or save on resources, which we probably will, this entire vertical line is unnecessary until bots, unless we need it for something like red chips. If we need it for something like red chips, then we need it early, which that does actually change things. Maybe I'll put it on the outside of my base. I also don't know what this rail is for. Because like it would be very nice for red and green science to not need these belts. Just in terms of like cost savings, if that cost can be pushed back until post bots, ooh, that's a lot of iron saved early on, and a lot of time, just in general. Mostly resources though. We would have to supplement it with, okay, how much green science do we need for bots? Is there like a calculator for this? We need at least, so where's construction bots? So we need 100, 75, 100, wait, let's count them together. 125, 175, 225, 300-ish, 375. Oh gosh, that's a lot. That's a lot of science between those two. Okay, so we're at like 720, 1,000-ish, 1,100, 1,200, another 100. Okay, so we're looking at least 1,200, but since I'm getting stack inserter size as well that early, that is adding another... Which one is it? This one? Yeah, that's adding another 450. No, 600 on top of that. So we need 800 science divided among probably 12 or... Honestly, it might be 18 assemblers. So we can realistically feed half stacks or individual coal. Those are our two options. An individual piece of coal should move about 60 items. Yes. Yeah, I think it moves about 60 items. They take about 72 kilowatts, so it's pretty easy math to do. 4 divided by 72. Or 4,000 divided by 72, I guess. 4,000. Can't do mental math right now. Yeah, it's about 60 items. 55, 60 items, somewhere in that range. So we need 1,800. Oh gosh. 1,800 divided by 55. That means we would need 32 labs if we only wanted to do one coal into each. So that means we would need half stacks of coal. So if we want to do the hand feeding approach, that means we need on hand 18 times 100 coal. We need 36 stacks of coal. Okay. We're not hand feeding it then. That is an incredibly high amount of coal. Because the goal would be to have this and not have to feed it again until after bots, but that's only possible if we feed it an enormous amount of coal. So we'll just let it fill naturally, I think. Because I don't think it's going to add the cost of like 1,800 iron on top of it. And these can go, I really do think they're just going to go here. I don't know why, but having them on the edge of my base just seems to make sense for this. Because I don't want to make my base too long. Well, actually, does it matter? Actually, no, it doesn't matter. It'll probably be more like here. Now that I think about it, because I want to minimize running back and forth as much as I can. So yeah, I think this seems like a decent spot. We'll have a lot of stuff to fix in the blueprints. Obviously, this is a very like rough draft, just trying to get like the bearings for how big I think the base will be. We'll work on compacting it later once we have a general idea of if we like certain designs. But I'm really liking this new approach of having them all just on the left aligned. And then there's these which have a very weird design, so we're not going to look at those. They're a bit off. They're also a bit very inconsistent. And what else do we need in the mall? Pipes. We'll need power poles at some point. Yeah, this will... I don't know if this mall is actually enough. We might have to expand it at some point. Because it doesn't produce red belt. I feel like we won't be able to get enough red belt in this, so we'll probably just have a second mall assembler. But that will be after, so we just need to make sure we have enough for the starter base, which will also need boilers, and probably 2 burner drill assemblers. If I can place this in a better spot. Like, maybe I can shift this over. Oh, wait, I could shift this one over and direct feed the furnaces. That could work. That could definitely work. Direct feeding here is fairly safe. It's not perfectly safe, but I think it's pretty consistent. Yeah, no, it's definitely... Wait. Yeah. Wait, is there enough room for this? I think there could be enough room, but I'm going to have to do some weirdness. So we'll actually probably put this one on the other side because it's going to have a weird stone connection. That's the worst way I could build it. This is the safe way to build it. The mostly safe way to build it. There we go. That will feed directly in, which should help a lot. I don't know if this is enough burner drills. I'm assuming it's not, because one thing I did not account for is did not calculate is how much the burner drills are going to cost for outposts. We need like 1,000 of them. Well, let's see. We're producing, let's see, 10,000 per hour. Or 10,000 green chips per hour. That's 600,000 green chips per hour. That requires, ignoring productivity modules, of course. That consumes 2.25 times that in resources. So that means we need 1.5 million iron per hour into these. Or 400 resources per second. That means each outpost, which I need 8 of, will have 400 drills. No, 1,600 drills. Minus productivity. So about 1,200 drills, yeah. 1,200 drills is not that expensive, except I need to be able to produce 1 drill every 2 seconds, it looks like. Which this can definitely not produce. With upgrades, it will produce pretty close to that, actually. It will definitely get enough stone. Stone furnaces won't be bottlenecked. Iron and iron gears. It can do up to 1.8. So this is actually working full speed. So this can produce 1 per 4 seconds. If we upgrade it, it can produce probably like 1 per like 3 seconds, but it's not going to get that much above that. So we actually need 2 of these. We can have that in the future base, but we do need to plan for that. We need 2 burner drill assemblers to keep up with the pace we are anticipating. These are going to be input limited, so we'll probably do something. Honestly, we might have these sped up using this strategy again as well. Or we could, again, the mall doesn't have to be like final. We can have a space for future mall stuff later for expanding, so maybe I don't need to worry. Maybe I don't need to worry too much about that. I think I might need to look at the normal 100% base, see what their mall expansions look like. Because I'm assuming they don't build everything they need for post-launch immediately. Like obviously that would waste too many resources. It probably is just in a completely different part of the base. But not familiar enough with that. Okay, what else are we missing? Let's see, furnaces. These are good because they also give me furnaces. Somehow. I think furnaces are going to have to be in a weird spot. I don't actually like that. I do not like that. But if we don't have that, we can't have a ton of output, which I also don't like. Like, this doesn't produce enough furnaces. But this has an output in an awkward spot. Output in the awkward spot is definitely better, otherwise I have to have 2 of them, but it's not ideal. We could also maybe put this in a weird spot. Like it could go somewhere like here. Actually, no, that might work. This would let us get a dedicated furnace line here. So this would be like the 3rd tier of the mall, I guess. Yeah, that seems reasonable. And then it avoids the slightly unsafe feeding. Okay. I think that would work. I would need to be very careful about grabbing from stuff, but I think that's fine. We don't have very large of a buffer here. I mean, okay, we have a fairly large buffer. This holds like 1,500 burner drills. But yeah, this would let us do up to 3. If we really wanted to, we could run it pretty much full speed like this. Although I don't think it's that important. It just needs to run well enough to power this. And if I wanted to put them on a belt, I could also do the same for boilers. But I also need them for just hand building. So yeah, we'll probably have multiple furnace assemblers. If I had to guess, we'll probably actually start with a lot of hand feeding, which is actually what this box is for. So these probably don't need to be automated for a while, which means they don't actually need to be there at all. They could be in the second part of the mall and then have a belt coming back. Or I could leave a gap. I kind of like that. Just automate it later. Because we don't really need... We need boilers. Maybe we could put boilers on the other side. Does that work? No, that doesn't do anything. Yeah, but I forgot. We can just hand feed this because we'll have the little stone flower thing producing an absurd amount of furnaces, which we'll just hand feed once. And then that'll give us everything we need to get us to bots. And then once we get to bots, they can do the awkward furnace connection. Okay, I think that's the strat, which means we don't need furnaces here. We do need the ability to get furnaces here eventually, but honestly, because of that, we can probably just like cut through literally anywhere. Could probably cut through here somehow. Yeah, okay. So I think double length malls should be good then. Double length malls should be good. I think we're gonna have to have a lot of direct fed things because it's really hard to put enough pipe onto a belt. We'll waste a lot of assemblers that way, but on the other hand, we'll also save a lot of input inserters, so I think it'll balance out. Green science, I kind of like the idea of green science being in the middle of the base. Just because that'll be easier to set up initially. Trees are going to be so annoying. Also, I should probably rotate all of this. Because I'll never build a horizontal base. I can't do a horizontal base for this. I have to do it vertically. Where most of the inserter movements are going to be horizontal, just for speed and comfort purposes. It's mostly noticeable for the furnace lanes. But yeah, I would not be able to do these vertical drags for 3 hours, so we'll need to make sure our base is the other direction. Also belts. The belts, doing it horizontally is way more comfortable for me. And it's not like we have to find a perfect map, so I can afford to be picky about that one thing. Because this is 14. I think 12, okay, technically this is enough. This is enough for 2 science per second. Right, without upgrades? This produces 1 per 10 seconds. So 10 of these, okay, 10 is 1 per second. So with upgrades, this would be 1.5. So this should be, I think it's a little under 2, but we can always do a second upgrade, or we can do speed modules if we really need. But because we need a lot of green science fast, because we need to get stack inserter, we actually need to like oversize this. Especially since the latency is so high, we have a lot of things to make up for as well. So yeah, that should be fine. We also need a spot to start making steel. which will go pretty much wherever we want it to be. But we'll just do this. And this steel is solely for locomotives, because I don't know what the timing will be for getting to Gotlab, but I imagine we'll probably need some steel set up pretty early on, because I can't imagine we'll be fast enough to have a steel lane up in time, like a fully dedicated steel lane. But that is the goal. I just don't know if it'll actually happen. So I think in the initial planning, I should plan for having furnaces there. It's gonna be really fun compressing this all and like realigning it. But right now I need to just make sure I have everything I need in the base and a design I kind of like for that. Okay, so this puts blue cyan, or this puts labs here. I mean, I could put labs wherever I want, but I could also just place them right there, which I don't think... We don't go to labs very often. I wouldn't actually need to visit them again until after bots to give them, like, prod modules. Actually, no. We don't really need... Since we don't need a rush launch or anything, I don't think we ever need to put prod modules in the original labs. There's no real reason to, because they're never going to get the expensive sciences. They're just going to be deconstructed. Or no, not deconstructed. They're just going to be ignored. And their sciences are going to be sent off to the actually fast labs with prod 3s in them. So yeah, we don't need a plan to come back. That means this can be... Oh, that gives us a really easy option. Okay. I said we needed about 1,800 of each science, right? To get to bots. Oh wait, if I'm hand feeding this though, yeah, it just needs to get to bots. So what if I do like 3 inserters and then I just give them 1 coal each? That's pretty inconsistent, but it is an option. That would make the lab setup extremely easy, because this doesn't have to be expandable. But on the other hand, we still need a spot to pass coal through, so maybe it doesn't save that much, because we could just do red and green science on one side, and we can do blue science on the other the exact same way. It's going to be incredibly long this way. Also, this is still a lot of coal, isn't it? My biggest concern would actually if I just keep dropping a lot of coal on the belt, but those would probably clear themselves out. And if I'm designing my base horizontally, this is going to be vertical, which makes the coal dregs vertical, which I really do not like. I always forget the hitbox for these things is insanely small. Insanely small. Honestly, I think with the time that it really comes down to resource cost, because with the time I would spend trying to set this up, I think I would already have it automated. I think I could have the coal automated in the time I would spend hand feeding. That gives us another option then. This gives us this cool option, which should run fast enough. This one doesn't really fit a beacon, but that's fine. So we can keep the same setup. I imagine we can't go longer than 2 because they're really bad. And then the tricky part is going to be blue science. So we have a couple ways we can do this. One of them makes red and green science easier to set up, but it makes blue science harder. Actually, I guess any solution is going to make red and green science a little bit harder. It's because we would have to convert it. Oh wait, we need 2 inserters. Well, we could do sushi science. We could do sushi science here. I've never done it before. But we have access to, I think with blueprints you have access to circuit network from the start, so you can do circuit networks really easy. Okay, maybe not easy. You can do sushi science pretty quickly. Because all you have to do is connect a few belts, you don't have to set up any of the logic. Which means in that case, we could potentially have these be self-feeding, which would also be really fast to build. We couldn't double up on things. But this is very fast to build and could get us 32 labs that are very reliable. And I think by this point, I do not care about wasting 60 inserters. They're practically nothing. So we just need a 3-resource sushi that also has inserters. Inserter logic. Oh, okay, that's maybe a bit. Maybe this is a bit tougher than I thought. The idea here was to put coal and blue science on the belt. But that requires us to also read the belt contents and only grab if there's coal. But that doesn't work because there's competing inserters. So this actually cannot be double-sided if I want it to function. Which means it's going to be really, really long. Oh, but it is... Oh, wait, but it's sushi science. So it will be double-sided. They just won't be grabbing from the same belt. Okay, so I don't need to make it stupidly long. I can still make it the same length. Right? Like that would work pretty good. I have no idea how we handle recycling loops on sushi. Also, does anybody have blueprints for sushi science? Or at least like a general understanding. Can you do it without combinators? I know you can do it with entirely splitters, but the problem with that is the splitter only setup is very... Well, it's not really risky, it's just hard to build. It's all very hard to build. Even with blueprints pasted, it's really easy to mess it up. So I didn't want to worry about that. What other options do we have? I think you can just read the contents of a belt, right? And then sideload stuff. The only downside with that is you can't have double-sided, but that's okay. We can split these out at the end. So I think it's as simple as like having inputs here, right? We would split these because that won't work. And then we had, oh wait, these are all going on the same side. That's fine. There we go. Now they're not. Wait, does the prio matter here? No, because I think these are going to be on logic. I think we can afford to put this many inserters on logic to make sure that they're safe. So this none, read belt content, hold. Coal, ooh, wait. Oh wait. We would have to guarantee this only gets coal. That's easy. We can guarantee this only gets coal. I think that's fine. I don't like this though. I'm not a huge fan of 98 separate circuit networks. I just feel like that is not good, so maybe it's a good thing we are not planning to have this on every single belt in the base. I don't know if that would be better than these. I wonder if there would be a good way to do UPS comparisons with this setup versus if I were to read from a belt that has read from every single section of a belt. Which is why in the outposts we have one central belt that tells everything to activate if coal is backed up, which does increase the latency a little bit. But that doesn't work for the sushi. Doesn't work for the sushi build unless we have dedicated coal on one side. I said we needed 2.5, right? I said we needed 2.5. No, I said we needed like 2.5 to 3 science per second, which wouldn't work with a yellow belt if I'm not using both halves. But if we could do a full belt of coal here, we could do logic that doesn't put them on separate circuit networks. It would also let it fill way faster, which is nice. But I think this is as simple as... Let's just split this out. Because I don't think it matters what goes on what. Okay, these are just reading and holding. And then these top ones, we enable them. Let's see, if green is less than 1? Actually, it would probably be 2, because we're only doing 2 items, but we can probably just do 1 for now. Input, 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 input. Red is less than 1. Oops. Nope, that said the wrong thing. And then coal. Okay, I think that's simple enough. I think that works. I don't know how well it will work. I can't imagine it works great. But I think that's the basics for a sushi science. We just need to get some loaders. And then we're just gonna side load here. That sounds good. And then we need an infinity chest, 4 of them. Side matters, I think. Well, yeah, it matters what side you like load them on. If you're as long as you're like making sure you have them balanced or something. I think it matters for how you how you distribute the resources. But when we only have 4, I think you can just split them however you want. We just want it to be somewhat balanced. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, I don't think it is broken. Well, nah, I can't actually say that for sure. Okay, can this get locked up? That is the real question. We just need to make sure we need to connect them to the right logic. Okay, if we set this higher, does that break things? I think that might be too high. I don't actually know if it should be 1 or not, or 1 or 2. Honestly, 1 is probably good. Well, let's see. The belts can hold 4 items, right? So 2 and 2. Oh, this wouldn't saturate the whole belt. This would be too low. Red green has false ratio. I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, do you mean like we have too many assemblers here? Because I don't think belt density matters here, right? Like if we run low, 2 greens on belt, but only 1 red. Oh, you mean this? Oh, you mean for the outputs? Is it okay? So you meant like the side matters. Like if I'm doing this, I should always go from the far side of the belt. Switch filter side. Does that fix it? Wait. And make green less than 2? So you're thinking green goes over here, red goes over here. What's the point of this? Two greens on belt, but only 1 red. Switch after filter as well. Yeah, I switched after filter. I don't see what this does. Yeah, no, I know what you meant. I mean, it is after a filter. Red green has false ratio. Are there sciences that take more green than red? Clean belt? Oh no. This doesn't seem to be working great. I should probably Yeah, I don't think 2 works. Why is 2 not working? Is there like a delay maybe? Are they all supposed to be on the far side? Is that it? So let's do green science here, red science here instead. I guess this doesn't matter. Okay, and then we accidentally destroyed the logic here. Whoops. Now enable if blue is less than 1 and coal is less than 1. I guess we could do if coal is less than 1. Green should be less than 1 and red less than 2 in this configuration. Why do they need to be different though? Like, what purpose does that serve other than filling the belt a little better? Like, does it actually make it that they're balanced better on the belt? Since it doesn't seem that much different, does it? Like, I see it fills the belt better, but it fills the belt better with extra reds, so... Or extra red or extra green, so I don't quite get the purpose. Do these work? Okay, at least their logic works. We could probably put blue... we could probably put blue science on the other side. If you have a blueprint, I'll take it, but I don't quite... You're telling me to do something, but it doesn't really explain what purpose it serves. So it doesn't really sound like it's helpful without knowing why. Other than saturating the belt more. Are these set up differently? Less than 1, less than 1. Does this matter? Okay, so it matters for filling that. Okay. So the less than 1 versus less than 2, it matters. Based on the input side. So like if I were to okay, so if I were to load on this side of the belt, it should be less than 2. And if I load on this side of the belt, it should be less than 1. So is that what we're trying to achieve? At least that's okay. I think I see it now. So if it's on the fall or the trailing side of the belt. Wait, which would be the trailing side? The leading side of the belt. It gets a 2. So for this one then becomes 1. Wait, no, that didn't work. Oh, that's why it didn't work. No, wait, that still didn't work. Which side of red put input? Then it should work. Well, it seems to be working now. That's why I don't really see what the goal is. Maybe I can find a blueprint. I already did. Maybe I should just use circuits. Well, I can't really use an inserter setup, can I? I was gonna say maybe I should use an inserter. Oops. Wait, what did I do here? These should both be. It seems every time maybe I should just be testing different versions at once, because every time I place something, it seems different. But this seems to be working fine. So let's copy this. That way we don't have to delete the other things, so that way we can actually make sense of things first. Before we change things around. Red goes somewhere. Well, you could type either way, like I'll read it. I'll still read it. Oh, this is broken already. Okay, well this doesn't work. I don't see what's different. Trying to find some like pictures online, and I I don't see what's different about others than mine. Circuits, I mean combinators or something also make a difference. That we could wait, we can't use combinators, right? We can't use combinators for this. We can only use circuit networks. It can be a very simple circuit network, but yeah, we need circuit networks. Yeah, these get very imbalanced. Output priority doesn't need that. On input side, green right side with less than 1, and red on the left side with less than 2. Is that the belt's left side or our left side? Our side, okay. Green right side, that'd be over here. Since green would be on the right side, okay. That means we filter green to the left. No, left belt, right side. How did I misread this? Okay, I'll try. Our side, no, left belt, right side. Oh, should I? So are you saying I just swap these? Oh, okay. No, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Okay, so this part was correct. I just need to change the number to this. Okay. Then if we just like take things from it. I don't know why this changes things. Does that mean these also need to be fixed? That means these also probably need the same kind of fix. Although that side hasn't broken yet, which is weird. But it seems like it would need the same kind of thing. Or maybe it doesn't matter. This is 1, this is 1. Okay. Is this enough science? Now I need to figure out how much this is actually moving, because I don't know. Can we do it with a red belt? That is the real question. I think technically I could do it with a red belt. With how many inserters I have, I could probably use a red belt. We could also have 2 side point. We could side load it later here. Although wait, this isn't the part that needs to process 3 science per second. This part probably only needs to process 2 science per second, which this can probably do. Yeah, no, this should be fine. Okay, so this will be really easy to set up. I'm thinking for consistency's sake, well, these will always be on the correct side of the belt. I'm thinking for consistency's sake. Actually, I'm going to swap these. That should be coal. Or I want coal on the left now. Okay. Thanks for the help. By the way, very, very much appreciated. I don't know. I hear about sushi science all the time. But like I don't I don't see anything that actually uses it. That isn't just splitters. I just I thought circuit sushi was a lot more common than it was. Or at least common in like Google searches. But yeah, there we go. So the goal here is to just add a filter, so that way we guarantee that when we connect coal, it goes to the correct side. Honestly, we could probably connect, if we accidentally connect solid fuel, I don't think we'll break things. But we need to add its own little side loader and splitter. So that way it will balance out whatever side they happen to be on. I want to just be able to connect a full belt of coal without having to worry about it, because this is definitely something that needs to be consistent. I need not think too much about it. So that would go on the inside. This would go on the outside. Oh, that's actually really easy. Okay, so this should work. And now this makes it that it doesn't matter what side of the belt things are coming from. We just connect 2 of them. I probably should have just swapped them though, just to make sure that's actually true. Yeah, that should be good. That's a little side swapper. Okay, so now it doesn't matter how I connect blue science, as long as I connect it here. Perfect. Now I can move this down a little bit lower. Good. Red and green, there's no incorrect way to connect it, so we should be fine there. We should be more than fine there. Okay. That's good for those. You know, if these have circuits on them. Oh, wait, these have circuits on them. That means they can't be connected with solid fuel at all, or they break. I could change the circuits in a later blueprint, because once they have coal and solid fuel, they're pretty safe. They'll keep running. So we could have a later blueprint that removes this condition. Honestly, we might even be able to just like remove everything. Actually, no, I don't think you can completely remove circuits in a blueprint. Oops, that goes the wrong way. You can remove the conditions and stuff. Yeah, you can remove the conditions, but we can't remove the blueprint entirely, or remove the circuit network entirely. But it might be fine. We might just give this dedicated coal, and then it will always be okay. Because this really only runs for about an hour and a half. So realistically, it doesn't need to be amazing. It just needs to be quick. And this is definitely quick to set up. Like, you just drag everything in one direction without any rotations, and then you go the other way. Actually, I should edit that. My goal is actually 12 hours, but I don't think I'll get that the first try unless I do a bunch of practice first. I also might be overestimating my computer. That's a projection based on my last run, though. And assuming that I've actually made the improvements I thought I've made. But the first attempt was done blueprintless, so I really wanted to do it again with blueprints. Okay, so these only work if there's coal. You know what? We can give this a dedicated coal lane. I think as long as we have a filter here that filters out coal, so that way we know we'll be good. We don't even really need to build... Actually, no, we need to build it. Yeah. Okay, so we got sushi science working. I think without the circuits, it doesn't work at all. I can pretty much guarantee that without the circuit network, these would not work. Let's check. I don't imagine this will work well. We might as well try. I'm assuming the first ones are gonna work okay, but the later ones are gonna be awful. Second sushi on the outside for other flasks. We don't have any other flasks, so that's not a concern. You could doing it with filtering splitters and prio splitters. Oh yeah, but the thing about that is that it's really slow to set up. So it's so slow to set up that it's not worth it. Because the advantage of this is that the first time I set it up, it is incredibly easy to connect. And that is a big selling point. And we don't need to worry about other flasks, I don't think. I mean, we could potentially convert this. But I wasn't planning to have other flasks. I guess it depends. It really depends on if I think I can make this red belt. Blue coal belt has the wrong ratio? Oh, whoops. No. If it was on purpose, it would have been the other way. Which actually is a good idea. Wait, which gives it more? Wait, oh wait. That didn't work. Actually, I don't think I know how to mess with the ratios enough. Enough to deal with this. You know, we'll just leave it. We'll leave it. Slightly extra coal would be nice, but I don't think it's essential. But yeah, we could use this. The only problem is these need prod 3s, and those are expensive. Those are really expensive. But so are speed modules. Because we will eventually be giving these prod 3s, but only to some of the labs. And if we only do some of the labs, then that gets pricey. We could do sushi just here. How many beacons can we put? We technically don't have to get this side. We could just do... No, I don't think that's great. I think we just need it to go to a separate spot. Because there's no researches I need before bots that... There's no resources I need before bots or before launch that bots won't be building. I don't need to be able to connect those purple or yellow. Which means I was thinking of just doing a separate build for science. Or a separate build for labs later. How much do prod 3s cost? Prod 3s are really expensive, aren't they? Actually, they're not terrible. I guess they're not terrible. They're pricey. They're definitely up there. But they're pretty expensive. If I leave a gap, we could do beacons in the middle. I guess these don't technically... I could leave a gap so then I can double up on beacons. That would help. I don't know how I'll power the beacons, but it would be nice to get beacons in the middle here. No idea what... No idea why... I still have not figured this out. I've never seen this in editor mode before, but somehow I opened the character menu. And I've never been able to hide it. Or maybe it's always been there. That's also a possibility. I guess if I'm worried about prod modding and I don't want to do all the labs, I could just deconstruct half of these, or disable half of them halfway through. Like the blueprint that adds the beacons could disable them, and then I only have to worry about this section, which is totally viable. Because leaving this gap in the center is not going to make the cost that much higher. Oh, we'll also have substations. Oh yeah, we'll have substations, won't we? Wait, where's filter? Oh yeah. Will these power everything? Yeah, okay. So since we have substations, we can paste those on the outside and that'll power the beacons. These just need power poles, which is, they can just go wherever. This it's times like this where I wish I was doing burner. Just everything's a burner. But it's also times like this where I'm like, oh right, this is why I'm not doing everything's a burner. Because I think the power poles add just a small amount, a small thing to the design that I like. Yeah, I think... Oh, we can't really have that many power poles on the outside. But I guess the input speed of this will be a little bit higher. So maybe these won't work full speed. I guess I'll have to check. Let's see, let's do research speed. 1, 2... We'll have all of them, right? Yeah, we'll have all of them by this point. Then we also need stack size, which we do have. Because if our inserters keep up, then I think we're fine. I don't actually know the research speed for these. I feel like I'll need to figure that out. Figure out that math. And then probably speed modules in the middle as well. Yeah, okay, so that would get all of these. And then these ones will just disable? Nah, we won't worry. Oh, right, these are all dead. Because I disabled the logic. Right. Yeah, this logic is necessary. Don't cut it. I was hoping maybe there would be a way. Okay, technically there is a way to not cut it, but it requires us to use one less half of the belt. There we go, and then we'll repaste these, and they'll get their free coal back, and then they'll start up again. Oh, this looks so terrible. It looks like the belts are going the opposite direction, because they scanned them weirdly. So we gotta have sushi science here. There isn't a way to set it up without coal. How much did I have on my last run? That would be a good... I think that would be a good goal. The original run. I think in the end I had 8 labs that were fully beaconed, which is probably the better way to do it, although it is hard to run. Yeah, we had really weird setups. It looks like we had one set that was fully beaconed. That was a total crafting speed of 23 times 4, about 100. And then these also kind of worked. So let's say 125 was our total research speed, which is that's two science per second, right? That's the amount of science it can consume per second. No, wait, no, that's not really. Well, is it? No, it probably is. That's probably what it. Well, I guess that would depend on what research you're researching. I don't know how I convert that into science per second. I'm assuming maybe the infinite researches is how people base it. Yeah, who knows? Honestly, just trial and error. Trial and error also works. But we just need this exact same logic. Same splitters too. But now we're doing it with red. Oh wait, is this enough? We can't do all the sciences here. Unless I figure out how to do 5. Or unless I figure out how to do 3 or 4 on one belt. Which is definitely possible. Like, obviously that's possible. I don't know how much it changes it. Does it change it at all? Maybe it doesn't change it at all. Let's do purple. Yeah, it might not change it at all. Let's mess with it. But we'll do this is less than 1. See how that does it. Unfortunately, we do need all 6 because we do have to get military science, like a lot of military science. Yeah, there's no gaps for that. How do people get 4 onto here? I mean, if this was lower, that wouldn't fill it as much, but that wouldn't do anything. Yeah, how do people get 4? Or does 4 require actual combinators? Or like a different kind of balancer? I'll have to look into that. But right now I don't see a way to get all 7 sciences. Unless we have them... Unless we have a coal lane. We could have this one fed by a coal lane. Oh wait, the input speed's not enough. Yeah, I don't see... The more I mess with this, the more I don't see it working that great for the higher tier sciences. At least not in a way I'm happy with the amount of like beacons it would use. Because dedicated belts would be very easy. We can just probably have like a splitter here that we build early on that eventually goes towards the sciences. And that would also be fed solid fuel, but that, honestly, the solid fuel thing doesn't matter that much. Because I really did like my original beacon lane. I don't know which is more expensive, though. Probably the same. More burners on burners. All burners. All burners all the way. Although it's not as restricting as some burner runs, but that's because I'm trying to get every achievement, and I want to do it in one stream. So I have to allow myself to use beacons and modules and all that stuff. Otherwise, it would take like 24, 36. It would take over like 24 hours. So we're not restricting the use of anything other than burner drills and burner inserters. When can we expect a run? I have no idea. That's why I've been working on this like a few hours a week, because I want to actually finish the base. Then I'll probably need to practice a little bit of the base to make sure it works. But it probably won't be for a couple months. It depends how much time. It depends how much time I dedicate to doing it. I guess I could use Combinator Sushi at this point. I could use Combinator Sushi for the yellow and purple science, which is very... I don't know if that's better. I don't know how to use Combinator Sushi. The dedication is there, being the 30th and everything. What? We're... I can say we won't get to it until next year. There we go. I didn't mention the time, did I? Okay, good. I was worried I split... My goal is to get 16 hours this year, and I was like, wait a minute. That is not right. I do really like this. I do like this for 3 sciences. I like this a lot. The fact that we need coal on the belt really complicates things. Wait, am I just dumb? Yeah. No, I'm not dumb. Because there's 7 sciences, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, there are 7 sciences. Okay, cool. I mean, I might still be dumb, but for different reasons. I could do splitter. I could do splitter balancing if I really wanted to, with the future sciences, since I don't know how to do that with circuit logic. I could do that entirely with the other stuff, with the later sciences, because then you can do up to... You can do as many as you want, because it's divided based on splitter having. So as long as it's a multiple of 2, you can do it pretty easily. You could probably do like a multiple of 5, but I feel like you shouldn't. So we would just have those running at 1/8 of a belt, which with red belt is too slow. With red belt, that's too slow, isn't it? Or sorry, we would be doing 1/4 of a belt. Yeah, 1/4 of a belt. The 15 divided by 4. That's technically enough. Barely. This broke? Oh, it's not connected. Well, that would do it. Okay, so Sushi Science 1. Someone did suggest this, which is just hilarious. So I have to show it. It wasn't that. I can assure you it was not exactly like that. Okay, maybe I should request multiple so it actually like fills up. There we go. This is the idea. It's very hard to load. It uses like 200 cars. But you just cycle the cars around, and then you fill sciences as needed through the cars. And I think if you have an inserter here, it can grab from the car. Then you would have solid fuel in the car, and then they grab from it as it passes by. I think I have it in the wrong spot. I don't exactly remember how it works. I think it goes the other way. Actually, it shouldn't matter. Or maybe it does. Yeah, those aren't grabbing from it, so I don't remember exactly how it worked. It's a bit finicky to try to get them to grab from it, but yeah, that's the gist of it. We're not going with it, mostly because cars are really expensive compared to just a belt, because you're trading two rows of belts for like 400 cars, and it's that's not a great trade. I wonder if I still have that. Hold on, I might still have the blueprint. Actually, no, I doubt I have the blueprint. Well, we'll see. It might be in this one if I still have it. Because I really, it's really great. Oh gosh, yeah, but I don't name things. Okay, it would probably have a picture of a lab, right? It had like, oh, was it this? Oh no, this was a train setup that I had, which was also not great because I forgot when I set this up. I didn't realize the stack size of I forgot the stack size of space science was like 2,000. So the internal buffer of a single train was 2,000. 2,000 space science, which is like a third of our total space science. We couldn't afford to buffer that inside. Let's see, did I really not save it? It might not have been during the run. It might have been something he suggested when we were doing designs after. So it might not be in this save. I might have just not saved it, which is a bummer because it was really cool. It wasn't useful, but it was really cool. But yeah, it's doesn't look like it's in here. It could be in my blueprints, but I think these are mostly just. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are all just random belts. Unfortunate. It was a cool design, but I mean the idea was as simple as that, just putting cars on a belt. I feel like that would be terrible for UPS if you did your whole factory like that, but it would be an interesting way to do them all. Maybe it wouldn't be bad. I don't really know how UPS compares. Like having 200, actually if I did the whole base, having like 4,000 total cars going around versus having 1,000 extra inserters, I don't know what the difference of those is. I imagine probably is not a good trade-off. But imagine how great the base would look. Okay, so this is a very clean lab setup, though. I really like that. That's so much easier to set up by hand. I don't even have to do anything with hand feeding. I don't need any vertical rows. The only problem is that I probably shouldn't have it built this direction. I should probably actually build it tangential to my base. No, or nah. Maybe? I don't know. Well, actually, I guess that wouldn't be tangential. That's like specifically circles. Right? So perpendicular. So what you're saying is another run with only cars allowed on belts? That would be really funny. The only thing I don't like about that is how it's a no belt run until you get the car research. Which isn't, actually that's not that far. You can do that in like 30 or 40 minutes. You know what, it can go on the list. It can go on the list. Like, sure, you can do a beltless run, but a car on belt run is just so much funnier sounding than just no belts. Even though it's, not really worse. It's just really dumb. Yeah, I think we want this perpendicular to the base, and the only reason for that is that these, if built like this, are not on that coal grid. But we could also have the coal grid. Technically, we could have the coal grid go around if we really wanted to. So, you know what? That sounds easier than rotating. Yeah, we'll just make it inline. Is this one going to be another YouTube vid? One of them is. I'm not sure if it will be this one. Because I did another one that didn't have blueprints, which would probably just make a better video. Just because it's a lot less of just pasting things. But one of the burner 100% runs will probably be a vid. I'm just not sure if it will be my original one or the redo. But this one also would have the cool, like, hey, I did it in 12 hours aspect, which is, well, hopefully, which is great. Could you make a belt setup that fills up the car before sending it along the belt? I think, yes. I think you could do that. Well, maybe. Actually, you can't really read the contents of the belt. Or you can't read the contents of the cars. And then yeah, you can't really read the ugh, let me restart. My lips are chapped. Hard to speak. Okay. You can't really read the contents of the cars, but you could probably put like a timer on it if you really wanted to. Like you could have cars on the side and then they just get preloaded before they go on. And then for continuous filling, they would just get loaded along the side. I don't know if that would be necessary to preload them though. You would probably just have the car going throughout the base. You're eternally bored today watching some Dosh? Nice, nice. I'm surprised because they have a channel doing decently well. Yeah, I gained like 3,000 subs almost, I think, from that video, which is a lot more than I expected. Or like 2,500. It's still a lot more than I expected. I was like, I'll be content with 100 gained to get that 1,000 goal, but very, very happy with how the video's been received. Why did these break? Oh, because I moved them. That's fine. Factorio fans see suffering, they subscribed. There is a lot of suffering here. Suffering every week. Every day, really. Just life. Okay, I kind of like this. I definitely like this. I don't know if I like converting this one to the final one. Mostly because of how many prots that would take. But in the grand scheme of things, is wasting 32... This is only 32 labs. In the grand scheme of things, is that really a lot of modules? While burner inserter is active, freeze belt. Is there an inactive button? How do you read the activity of an inserter? I didn't know you could do that. Oh, I guess you could read its contents. Right. You could read its contents. And if it's anything, then it's probably active. Yeah, we could do that. I don't think you would need to, but it is something that could be done. Yeah, I don't see the benefit of freezing it, since the whole point of using the cars would be to keep them moving. So I think it would probably be important for the coal belt. Actually, no, it would be important for the coal belt. You wouldn't need to do it for every resource, but you would probably have one car going in and the coal filling station. Would make things like mining easier. Are you thinking mining into cars? Oh, right, if I was only allowed... True, if I'm only allowed to move stuff, I would have to mine into cars, wouldn't I? Does this even work? I have no idea how to mine into a car. Oh my gosh, it does. Oh wow, that's Does it work with other things? Will coal ever make it into the other inventory? Wait, would you be able to mine coal? Huh, I don't know if you'll be able to mine coal. It depends if it goes into the other inventory. It probably would. It probably will go to the bottom. Unless you also want it to go onto a ground and then into the car. But honestly, directly mining the car would be great. I was more concerned with the mall though. We would have so many cars going around. Okay, I like this one. What's next? We need steel. We need steel furnaces. Is what vanilla? Oh yeah, no, this is vanilla. Everything we're doing right now is vanilla because I want this to be under the rules of an actual 100% run, just in case I decide to submit it. I don't know if I will. But I want it to be technically like within the rules of a standard 100% run. Which means I won't be able to use a set map seed. I'll have to re-roll that day. I'll have to record the whole thing in one sitting. Which is why I'll be switching to a controller, and also no mods. The only mods we have right now are like always day and stuff. And a playtime thing just for editing. Why at train stops instead of belts when you can use cars, I guess. Yeah, trains. Why use trains when you can just use a much harder to use system of cars? Oh, I guess. Wait. If the car run wasn't a suggestion for burner only, it was just a suggestion for cars, right? I was trying to think of how to move. How to move everything over here. Wait, does this work though? Wait. Can I fill this? No. But does this fill the car? I don't think this works, because if this can output, then this can't input, right? Yeah, okay, never mind. I was hoping maybe we could use the burner inserter to grab from the car at the same time. But yeah, we'll have electricity there, so I don't need to worry about stuff like that. That's also not this run, so I really don't need to worry about that stuff. But yeah, we have the mall. We obviously don't need electric circuits. The mall feels so lacking right now because we just don't need so much of it. We do need another belt assembler though. Or sorry, another pipe assembler. We'll fill in the we'll fill in these vertical inserters later, or these vertical belts later. This is everything I need for the starter mall. This gets me up to green science. So after that it would either be mall upgrades or steel furnaces. It's probably going to be steel furnaces. Although we can't really do much with steel furnaces, they decrease the build time. They decrease the build time significantly. And eventually we'll use steel furnaces to increase the belt throughput once we go to red belt. But we're not going to worry about that right now. I also probably only need 24 copper. Yeah, I definitely only need 24 copper furnaces. So I can actually delete all of those on the right. Why won't that work? Oh, remove unfiltered items deletes my deconstruction planner. That's great. Okay, that's 76. I think that's not all of them, is it? Oh, it was too many of them, actually. Okay, so the advantage of doing this, we do have this awkward gap here, which is a bit unfortunate, but it saves us from building a lot of inserters later. And then when we get to the point where we need an upgrade, we can just paste this, and then that will expand it. So that way we can upgrade these pretty easily. The only reason I'm not doing it now is because we don't need that much copper. We need enough copper for like 2 of these, and then red science, which is very little. Very, very little. We don't even need this many assemblers. These are just placeholders for later. Because I think these will also be going towards red chips, probably. If they do go to red chips, we'll just build this by hand. But I think what will happen is we'll just upgrade these to steel furnaces. So steel furnaces, we also need bricks. Wait, how do I do a steeling with burners? How do I do a steel lane with burners? You can't direct feed, can you? You know, I haven't examined. You know, I haven't really looked into it. There might be a way to direct feed with them. That would be really fun. Because I think normally you would just do like a pretty, you know, like the standard Factorio belt. Like when you're first doing a steel lane, you just go onto a belt first, and that belt has coal on it. Or you just, you know, feed it a coal lane, or feed it an iron plate lane, and then you use the splitter technique. Both of those work. But with like the speedrunner way, or just more compact way, you do this thing. Which does not work at all with burner inserters, because you can't get that many inserters here. Because these need an output. These would also need to be fed. And then there's no way to get fuel into the furnaces. Unless I had a larger gap and did like 1 per row, which might end up being more dense. I don't actually know. I do like the idea of direct feeding these, because I think that's a very fun concept. It depends how the spacing works out. I think the spacing... Ooh, this uses a lot of space. If I want to keep it on the same grid. If I don't want to keep it on the same grid, it doesn't actually use a ton. It can be rotated. Wait. No, wait. Wait, this is what I meant to do. That would go over. So then it is the same spacing, right? Yeah, it is the same spacing. It's just a very wasteful spacing. Because then we have this gap that we can't really do anything about. Yeah, this is a... I don't think this is a winner. Because these end up being completely wasted, so you can only do like every other row on the pattern I have. This is pretty dense, but this requires dedicated coal lanes. Is it fast to set up, though? It is pretty fast to set up. This is actually pretty fast to set up. Because it's just one direction, and then if I really wanted to, I could just do straight drags here. Which is very, very clean. Why is this tempting? This should not be tempting. How many furnaces is this? 16. So I would be able to get it up to 32 furnaces long, which is a bit rough for this size. I don't know what the area of this is, though. I should probably check. So if I want to do, let's do the length of the normal lane just for testing purposes. We will say it is about this large, which is 63 by 9. That's about 450. That's a very... I feel like that is not very dense, but nothing is. Whereas a normal steel lane would have this same pattern, but basically copied twice. It's like that. And then I don't think I double-sided the first one, did I? No, I didn't. Okay. So this one has a density of... is a little bit higher. This actually is technically larger, but, you know, it has more furnaces. So this is for 48 furnaces. This is for 36. You know, I think the density is identical. So there's no reason at all to use that one, which is a shame. Because that one was a fun design. But yeah, we'll just do a normal steel lane. Well, normal. TM. It's not really that normal. And then I can flip this if I want. Obviously the belts are going the wrong way. And then this will only be half the length because of belt throughput issues. Because this is going to be our steel lane. This doesn't feel like a lot of steel, but I don't think we'll be expanding that fast, so it should be plenty. We will have an upgrade at some point. This is 12. Okay, so this uses one full belt of iron, which is going to be very easy to upgrade later into steel belts, or we can either do steel furnaces, or we can... Oh wait, do I want to build this full size immediately? We could either do a short lane with steel furnaces and then upgrade to a red belt later, or do a full lane with new regular furnaces and then also upgrade to steel belt later, or two red steel furnaces later. The advantage of this one, obviously, is it's way faster to build, and honestly, I think mechanics matter at this point. I think with how slow it is to do inserter stuff, saving the time on building this lane is going to be 100% worth it. 100%. And then we'll do an upgrade later, because it really just needs to provide enough. It really just needs to give us enough for us to get, like, 24 steel furnaces, right? We just need 48 steel furnaces. This is more than enough for that. Especially since we'll be using this time to probably expand power, go get some more resources, and because all of that stuff is slower, yeah, we'll be golden. And we also need a bricks lane. So bricks lanes, brick lanes don't look any different with burner inserters. Okay, they look different than a normal furnace lane, but they don't have anything that special to them, except for the fact that they don't run fully, which I think is really fun. Because these don't run fast enough with stack size 1. I don't even think they run fast enough with stack size 2. The furnace wants... Let's see, what does a furnace want? A furnace wants 0.67? No, a stone furnace wants like 0.63 regular stone per second for bricks. When you get to steel furnaces, that's 1.23. So you either need 2 furnaces to run it fully, or you just need to run them at like 80% capacity. I think 80% capacity is probably the better option, but you also risk brownouts because of that. So doubling up is fairly worth it, because I think stone lanes are more prone to brownout or exhaustion, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes I call it brownout, sometimes I just call it exhaustion. I feel like exhaustion is probably a more accurate term, because it's not like a slow death. It just, you know, they tire themselves out from their starting fuel. Okay, so yeah, these will just be... We'll just have this as a half capacity lane. I think that's the way to go there. So this will let me get steel furnaces. Steel furnaces are probably going to be easy to run full speed, because we can just drag these straight. This is so... This huge gap I really don't like, but it's just so long to build this by hand. We have to have bots do that. I think I don't see a vision where we can outpace the build speed or production speed for that to matter. So yeah, we'll just do steel furnaces here, and then this also gives us all the steel we need for... Wait, there's this huge gap here that's doing nothing. We'll figure that out later. Steel furnaces, we could give them to the mall. This is a lot of spaghetti to get them over here. Like, we just have this huge gap that we can't do anything with. I wonder if we could try folding the mall. Like, that's technically an option. It wastes a few inserters early on, but we could put them all like down here. So that way our base is less long, which is very useful for grabbing from stuff later. It also makes it a lot harder to add resources to them all later, so we'll have to make sure that we have our resource distribution pretty much perfect before we do that. But yeah, we might just fold them all, because this is looking really wide. It's 200 tiles wide already, which is 20 to 30 seconds to run across, which is it's a bit much for something that we have to do a lot to grab everything. I would like if it was more central. This actually could be like, I could move this here, and then these could go up. And then steel and bricks can just go down for them all. Because I think bricks and steel are going to be... They need to get on the far side of the mall, which is just so far. We also need a side load, which probably is a problem. Yeah, for now we'll just connect it. We'll clean stuff up later. We just need to make sure we have rough designs that work, and then we stitch them together later. I think is the strat. We could also just do steel furnaces locally. But I think this also... Oh, right. This also needs to go to refineries. Because we need chem plants, assembly machine 2s. Yeah, we need a lot of stuff from here. So ASM 2s, ASMR, ASM 2s. There we go. And then we also need ASM 3s. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't think we can chain 3 assemblers in a row with the way that we have this designed. With that, or with burner inserters, you can only do 2, right? If you want them to work full speed, you can only do 2. Yeah. Okay. If you want them to work full speed, you can only chain 2, which means we'll have to have one of them outputting onto a belt. Probably this one, since it's also going to output into a chest, whereas this one probably won't output into a chest. Oh wait. Or we could output it into a chest horizontally. We don't have the coal for this. Never mind. I think, regardless, we're going to have extra belts. And then this would go into blue assemblers, and then none of these are going to run full speed, so we're going to need a ton more. And then we could actually just direct feed this one if we really wanted to. Because we can direct feed one. I don't know which one's more useful to direct feed. I think direct feeding this stage is better, or actually, you know what, it doesn't matter. This is at the end of the mall. It's not going to use up that much space. But yeah, we need some chain of assemblers here. It's wild that we're using assembler 3s. It just feels wrong. They just they don't pair well with inserters, especially because none of the inserters we're running actually run full speed. We're mostly doing it for the prod bonus, because that lets us save a lot of assemblers in our final base at a cost of a bunch of extra refineries. So we're hoping it works. It might not, but I hope it works out. Then oil refineries, pump jacks, yeah, we need all that good stuff. And I think this is pretty much every entity in the game, right? Oh, offshore pumps. We need offshore pumps automated for sure. Pumps as well. But pumps will probably do some, yeah, pumps will actually be automated probably near science, if I had to guess. Probably near blue science, just because they pretty much share the engine recipe. Like, they use an engine, and then they just add more steel and pipe onto that engine, so those can definitely be over there. These will probably be built by bots, so these can go wherever. Yeah, no, I imagine substations will be built by bots. Big electric poles also built by bots. Medium poles and small electric poles, I'm not sure. I think we'll probably just be using small electric poles everywhere because we don't actually need that many in our outposts. So I think just hand-fed small electric poles for like the whole run will be more than sufficient to get us to the outposting phase, which will probably go here. And then I don't really know where to output. I could probably do the risky output, and it wouldn't be a problem. If I really wanted to, I could double up on it too. Oh wait, no, I can't. Wait, does this work? Yeah, we can make it work. We can make this work. Yeah, okay. That's a very weird spot for power poles, but it does technically work. And then this will get a filtered chest for all of the wood. Well, hopefully. That's the plan. Usually I mess that up, so I don't know if it'll actually work. Okay, pumps, chem plants, pump jacks, refineries, what else? Trains. Oh, we're using trains. We need so much in the mall. But again, these are post bots. So I think we just need to make sure the mall is designed in a way that we can stamp stuff onto it later, which is really leaning towards the whole we probably shouldn't fold the mall thing. So we need to add these to it. We need to add these to it. And we want it to be kind of on the edge where a building train could be, or we put the building train in the middle. But yeah, the the important thing here is that we need to be able to get bricks down there. Maybe I could put them all over here. I don't know, the more I look at it, the more I'm looking like I want them all central. But trains will complicate things. The important thing is to just get a general space requirement. I have no idea what these are supposed to be. I think they used to be assembly machines. Or no, they were assemblers. Yeah, I don't have exciting socks on today. I got them as a gift, so I figured I would try them, but they are just plain black socks. I also thought they were fuzzy. They were not. I thought they were saved by that. So I probably will not be really wearing them. I was not a huge fan of them. They looked really warm. And they were okay. True, but I also, for the same person, I also got socks that had stockings on them. So they're competing with their own other gift socks. Let's see if I have that picture, because they're pretty cool socks. I think I wore them. There we go, these ones. These were in the same package, and these are top tier socks. Socks on socks on socks. I love them. So we have steel. This is such a large gap. I think I just need to pace the furnaces now so I stop thinking there's a massive gap. There we go. And now we have this large gap. I heard, you heard I like socks. Yeah, that's all I'm known for. I'm the guy with the socks. The socks and the cursed Factorio. I feel like those are my two main things. Because I think someone did a ChatGPT thing with Factorio speedrunners, and I'm pretty sure those were the things they described about me. It was mostly the socks, though. Mostly the socks. We could definitely do red chips here, right? Are we copper limited at all? Oh, we're definitely copper limited if we have this many. Because, like, we have this huge gap. It's the old meme from Pimp My Ride. That's a meme from something? I thought it was just... I didn't realize it was from something. I thought it was just, like... I don't know, a Vine, I guess. Pimp My Ride, though. That's a classic. Okay, so this... I don't use this much copper. Or I don't use this many circuits. Realistically, I could design it so that these get split off. But then that runs into the issue later of these are technically used for the mall after I get to this section. And then the green chip requirement becomes significantly higher. Still not high. Still not high, but higher. You know what? We should plan for dedicated lanes. I think the best bet would actually be to plan for dedicated lanes, but let bots finish this later. I think that's the way to go. So bots will expand it. We'll get more green chips about halfway through the run. Not halfway through the run. Halfway through the hand building phase. And then that would mean we would need more here. Is this the right ratio? 2 belts of iron, 1 copper. Honestly, that is enough for the first phase. And then we go to half a lane of bricks and steel, which is more than enough. Those away stuff like, yo dog, heard you like smoothies, so we put a smoothie shop in your Prius. Oh, that's great. I hope that exact scenario happened, because I would love a smoothie shop in my Prius. I don't know how practical it would be, but I don't think we've established I'm very practical. Because I have way too many socks than would be considered a practical amount. So I guess if I really wanted to simplify it, I could just steal from this copper lane. We can also, not steal from this copper lane, but I could double up on this copper lane. I think that would be a good strat. It's not going to be any faster to build, but this stuff will be hand built. This will be going towards red chips, which technically, again, we don't need to hand build all the red chips, but it might help. Will this get enough iron? Yeah, no, this should get... Technically, we have enough iron here for all of these, right? No, not really. Okay, we need more iron. So iron will be after steel, though, so that will go on this top side. We also need more copper here as well. Oh gosh, this isn't supposed to look like... The spaghetti here is not supposed to be this rough already. But I'm just trying to get, like, resource requirements right now. Okay, the base is looking a whole lot bigger. A whole lot bigger. And I think these will constantly use, right? Yeah, we'll always be using this many red chips. Yeah, these will not go to waste. Actually, what's the ratio for red chips? Red chips use a lot more copper, right? Yeah, a lot more copper. So we could actually probably double up the copper lanes. At which point it means this doesn't actually matter how this looks. So if we're doubling up the copper, which I think would be a bot thing, probably would be a bot thing, we can just do more red chips later. There we go, we'll send that. And then we also need plastic I think my decision for plastic was to make sure these got dedicated belts. Because I do like the idea of just taking directly from this belt, the vertical belts for these plants. But we can always reconsider that. It might not actually be the strat. Because we also, we'll need to send petroleum down here too, which makes this a lot less promising. But the nice thing about petroleum, or plastic production, is that we can just directly take from the same belt here. We need 1 in, 2 out. 1 in, 2 out is the right ratio. Yeah, it's really nice that we can just take from the fuel belt. The only problem is this does limit us to only having coal on this belt for one thing, and it means we have to have pretty much the full belt. And we are limited to making sure we don't have, what is that, 20 in a row? Yeah, something like 20 in a row. Which is a lot. That's a lot, because this could be up to like 8 wide. So that would be a total of like 80 plastic assemblers. So like that is a lot. We don't have to worry about that cap, but we definitely have it. Technically, we have a cap. Then we can double-side it if we really wanted to. Although we can't flip it, which is funny, because like technically this one doesn't really... it doesn't really matter if this one gets flipped. It doesn't change. It doesn't change how the plastic one looks. I mean, obviously visually it can't be flipped, but the inputs are the exact same. Okay, is this a good spot for plastic? I feel like plastic should probably be... I didn't really leave spots for engines, but yeah, no, this is a good spot for plastic. That's a decent spot for plastic. I think. I'm convinced. I'm convinced it's decent. Well, as decent as we can get. And it's really easy to connect too, because these can just be straight belts, or straight pipes. Yeah, okay, I like that. And then same for the other side, gonna be very easy to connect. This, with Smart Belt, as long as we do things in the right order, this will be super quick to build too, which I love. Pretty consistent, really, really hard to mess up the inputs and outputs. Yeah, I like that. So this is a full belt of plastic. This is a full belt of wires. I think I would actually like, you know what, I should probably, I don't know. Should I be hand building enough for 48 red chip assemblers? I feel like I should be hand building 48 red chip assemblers. Mostly because I don't know. Well, because I don't really need to rush purple science or yellow science. So just hand building more of the base before I do that sounds nice. But also having bought sooner sounds nice. So maybe I should just try to get the right ratio, which would be 4 plastic assemblers, just to run 23. Yeah, you know what? It's fine. We don't need to make this like completely full. So plastic and green chips, and then because we're not saturating the belt, does it matter where we put the wire? Technically it does. Technically it does. See, there's copper here though, which is great. Oh, we also need to make sure this has iron, but yeah, I'll figure that out. I'll figure out iron is supposed to go here. I'm sure of it. I probably won't. I don't trust myself. We need to make sure there's actually resources on the belt, so I know it's supposed to be there. Because this technically doesn't run full speed until we have a red belt in here. But on the other hand, this is way too many assemblers, so this won't need to run full speed, so we'll only be building half of it. Okay, you know what? This works. This works. Once this gets a red belt, which it should be able to, we can then expand it, and it can go into 24 assemblers. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would like it to eventually go into 32 or 48 red chip assemblers. But there could just be a much better way to do red chip assemblers that isn't in line with this, which would change things a lot too. But I was thinking we have a full row here. That gives me a full-ish belt of electronic circuits. Then we get, oh, we would need like 8 wire assemblers, which is Honestly, that's perfect. No, that's actually pretty perfect. We would need a side load somewhere here, but yeah, we can figure that out. Somehow. I think I can figure it out. That might work. What side of the belt do you go on? That's the wrong thing. Okay, yeah, that would work. That would work. I'll need to be very careful about building something like this, but it does work. And then I want these to be buildable probably from the left or right. I don't think it actually matters. I just need to make sure I build it. Figure out the... I just need to make sure I do it correctly in the design, really. But that requires me to practice building it to see which I prefer. Because if I want them to be placed on the left side, it doesn't make any difference, but it does mean I have to build it from the left to the right. If I have it on this side, I build it from the right to the left. But overall, that doesn't really change anything. It just changed my pathing slightly, which is probably not something that will matter, to be honest. At least not this run. And this will give me more than enough wires, like a whole red belt worth of wires. Which I can't imagine I'll use anytime soon. I don't really know how I want to do the higher tier sciences. I definitely don't want to do a mixed build. They obviously need dedicated resources. Which means there's probably no reason to overbuild red chips. Which means there's also probably no reason to overbuild them all. I'm thinking I just have too much here, is really what I'm seeing. I doubt I need this many gear assemblers at the pace I'll be going. And things get a lot smaller if I just chop off this. A lot smaller and a lot cheaper. So yeah, we can probably just cut like 40 tiles from our base for our starter base. And then we could put the wires here, right across from the plastic. Actually, wait, that's a good idea anyway. Yeah, we should probably just have the wires directly across from the plastic. Because then we don't have to worry about double-siding the plastic. And because they're on the same grid, it's very easy to just copy it and paste it over a little bit. And now I don't need to do a weird side load. Yeah, that is so much nicer. There we go. And again, I still think this is way too long. I think I would like to cut this entire section. Do I have anything unique here that I don't want to get rid of? Yes. Just these things. Which can kind of go wherever. That doesn't look right. No, never mind, that looks right. Okay, I have no idea what these were. We'll delete them. Well, I know what they were, but I don't think we need them. Move it over and voila. Okay, our base is a lot more compact now. There's absolutely no reason for me to build large at this point. If I want to expand it, I should just do it here. Like this could be the middle of the base. It doesn't have to be the edge of the base. And I definitely shouldn't make it longer. But we can't really do much to expand yet. I guess that doesn't leave me... Maybe that's why I built it so long. Oh well, that'll be easy to fix. Because building long gives us the option for... Expanding it gives us the option for red belt upgrades and just doubling everything later. That probably could be worth it. Enjoy your lurking in your streams. Do you think one of my underground coal belts is in reverse? Oh, there, yeah. Pretty much all of the belts are in reverse. Because what I've been doing is I've just been copying and rotating them. So there's a very good chance most of them are. But because we have the grid, we'll just be able to fix them with a lot of vertical swipes. I've been kind of ignoring them. Second to the left. Yeah, we might as well try not to. We might as well try to keep them unbroken, though, while we can. These ones are all wrong. These ones are all wrong. I'm just going to ignore those. But yeah, if I'm going to keep copying and pasting them, I should probably do it right. Oh, no. Wait, what happened here? Oh, this is fine. This is fine. This is just one tile off. Okay, maybe fixing them later is harder than I thought. Because I can't really, like, bulk fix them, can I? Because I don't think blueprints can flip belts. Yeah, Yep. Okay. No, we're gonna be more mindful of making sure things are the correct direction initially. Because yeah, this would be so tricky to debug. There we go. That should be everything. I see coal on everything. These ones we haven't attached yet, so these definitely are broken. But these ones seem okay. This is 8 gear assemblers. How much does any? That's actually. Any percent uses like 6 or 10, right? Total. That's actually enough. Considering I'm using burner inserters, this is definitely enough because we use way fewer gears because our base just expands slower. Yeah. I think I had it oversized because they weren't running fully, so that might complicate things a little bit. But yeah, for now, we'll leave it. This looks a lot more compact, though. I feel like we've wasted a lot less space. And then we can do pipes and engines. Ooh, engines are going to be weird. If I had to guess, direct feeding into science is not a good idea. But it's not... I don't think it's a bad idea. Oh, you know, it might not be a bad idea. Hold up. Can we do sushi? Can I do sushi? Do I trust myself to use sushi for this much of the base? That's what it comes down to. Isn't the ratio, the engine ratio, the same as for red chips? Well, okay, I guess ratio is the wrong word. Design, I guess, would just be a better way to phrase it. Usually when your red chips are going to other things, you build extra red chips, but you don't build extra engines. Because you don't really need extra engines. But you end up building extra engines because it's faster. But with burner inserters, it's not necessarily faster. Because like a fast way to do blue science is direct feeding. Like so. And then you use long inserters. And go onto a belt. And this is great, but it puts a 1-to-1 ratio of blue chips to engines, which is, I think, overproducing engines. And then you also have like 24 red chip assemblers. So you just make like 24 of everything. And the ratios aren't right, but they build fast enough. And it gives you extra red chips, and the engines are easy to build. But since we don't have long inserters, this doesn't work that great. So the whole time-saving approach doesn't work as well. It's definitely not as much of a selling point. Or a selling point at all. So I don't know if it will save time. Direct insertion is fun when it is 5 assemblers feeding a single assembler, and it... Yeah, when you have that many assemblers and it's just a circle, they're very unique designs. I mean, that's kind of what we have over here. It's not really a circle, it's more like... It's more like a diagonal rectangle, I guess. But like in a concave. It's like that shape, whatever that would be. I don't know what shape that is. Some kind of hexagon, I guess. Yeah, direct feeding designs are great. But these are still hand fed, so these need to be direct fed and all facing the same direction if we're going to do a significant portion of direct feeding. Wait, did I delete something? Oh wait, I didn't really have anything yet. What's in chemical science needs to... So the only way to direct feed... The only way to direct feed would be to have a belt, and then that's not direct feeding anymore. Yo, Kappa, welcome. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, we got a funnish... It'll be a lot more fun running. We have to design the base first, but we're working on a very large burner base. It will have... The goal is to have 50 to 60,000 inserters in it, like as many as I can fit before my computer slows down, basically is the goal here, which is a lot. If I had an X3D or like a an overclocked, like, top of the line CPU, we would definitely be aiming for like 100k inserters. But yeah, I think I'll be UPS limited at 60, 50 to 60, which is a lot. Like, that is still 4 to 5 million green chips per hour. Yeah, we need sulfur on this belt. We need an input for red. We need an output. Yeah, okay. It's looking like direct feeding won't work unless we put sulfur on like the side. And I don't think I want sulfur to go on the side. But on the other hand, how safe would that be? It would be pretty, you know what? It would be pretty safe. We could give it logic if we really wanted to. I think by this point, as long as we connect things up well with good prios, I think we'll have extra coal, so we can probably guarantee we get coal before sulfur. Yeah, circuits are also an option to simplify things. Not simplify things. What if we do a hybrid where part of it is direct fed and part of it is belted in? That's what I'm thinking. Like, we direct feed the engines, but then belt in sulfur from the side. Because I don't think that would be that bad. It saves a lot. It saves a lot of inserters. The only downside is this one's a little bit risky, but it's not that risky. Oh wait, we don't have steel. Oh wait, how do I get the inputs for this? Oh right, there's 3 inputs. Oh wait, what about sushi? Should I just do sushi? Is the answer to all of this to just do sushi for everything? I feel like that is the answer. Then we don't really need the... Then we don't really need this. Yeah, I think sushi blue science is the way to go. Which feels really weird. We don't need sushi red chips. Is that sushi where half of the belt is coal so the inserters sustain themselves? It depends if I can figure out how to do a sushi science with 4 resources on one side. I haven't figured that out yet. I don't know how to use... I don't know how to do more than a 50-50 split. With combinators. Oh, true. We might have combinators by this point. We couldn't do it earlier because these don't have combinators, but we could do it in the... We could probably afford to place a couple combinators at this point. Because this is right before we get bots. We could definitely afford to do like 2 combinators without losing too much time. Hello, North Shots. Welcome, welcome. Are you going to bother with military science? Unfortunately, yes, but we don't need it until the very end. So we don't have to hand build it at all. Because one of the achievements is to get... Well, one is to get every achievement, and one is to get, like, 100 bots. 100 military bots, whatever they're called, combat robots at one time. Where is it? I think it's called minions. Yeah, this one. Have 100 combat robots or more following you. That requires you to get, like, 6 tiers. No. It requires you to go, like, 2 or 3 tiers of infinite research. And those all require military as well. So you need like 7,000 military. Love my vids. Glad you enjoyed it. We normally do space exploration on the weekends, but I really want to get this base done. This is for an upcoming thing I'll hopefully be doing. I don't know how well it will be edited down. It depends. But I want to do an actual speedrun using only burner inserters by the 100% rules, which will take like 12 hours, but I would love to do it in one stream. Logic needs to account for science we take off the belt. Oh yeah. Yeah, someone was telling me about that the other day. That must be painful. Yeah. It's fun. It's a fun challenge because you come up with a lot of different designs. Because the thing is, burner inserters aren't great, but they have a lot of different ways you can make them usable. In the same way that regular Factorio, like when you're just using electricity, there's always different ways you can orient the inserters depending on, or the labs or whatever you're placing, all the entities, depending on what you're optimizing for. Like if it's total resource cost, if it's build speed, if it's prettiness. You get that same stuff with burner inserters. But it's a nice change of pace. It's just, 2 to 3 times slower than it would be with electricity. At least 2 to 3 times slower. Mostly because of latency. Largely because of latency, and also because mechanically they're like 3 times worse to hand build. Otherwise, we could have forced the belts to only ever drop the same amount of science on the belt. Yeah, if we did... Yeah, someone was talking about that. They called it like blood science, or I don't know. I'm pretty sure the word blood was in it. Blood sushi. Where it just accounted for how much was taken off. My idea... I'm not concerned with... I'm not too concerned with that, though. You know, I'm not too concerned with getting all the resources we need for science or labs. I don't think sushi labs are that critical. The only reason I'm considering sushi here is for build speed. I think it would be a lot faster to build sushi. Especially if we just did a 4 science one, or a 4 resource one. Because this gives us 2 resources on one side and 2 resources on the other, and one of those is coal. So that one gives me steel, pipes, gears, coal. I just realized there's not a good way to output this. There's not a good way to output from this, so does this actually fix anything? I don't know. The counting for what was taking off is essentially a counter, and we read what the inserters pick up. Yeah, I figured it was something like that. So I'm assuming it wouldn't be like evenly distributed. At least not perfectly. It would probably balance itself out fairly well. But because it would just look at the total like belt contents. But you might have like 10 steel here and 10 steel here. It probably would work great for something like... It would probably work great for something like labs. Not labs. Blue science production, where it's an incredibly slow research. But I do really like the sushi idea. And then we can output... Oh, this part's tricky. Can these also go on the circuit? It is a read held items as pulse, and then it goes to a combinator with the output wired to itself. Yeah, I know how to do the counter part of it. The example in the wiki looks easy. Does it have, what's it actually called? Like what part of the wiki? Wiki links are allowed. Is it just the sushi belt section? Because, yeah, Factorio stuff should be allowed without any auto modding. Oh gosh, my internet's slow. Wait, yeah. Oh, memory cell design. Well, that's not as fun of a name. Oh yeah, that does look pretty straightforward. The only problem with this is that I can't really have inserters putting science onto the belt. I mean, I guess I could. It's just not great. The reading belt design. Oh, that one's... The reading belt design, you just take a random set of 6. Are there any practical uses of sushi in vanilla? Oh yeah, there are plenty of practical uses in vanilla. I don't know if it scales well with megabases, but it's really good for just like connecting science. Because you can put like 7 sciences on one belt. If you're ultra beaconing a bunch of labs, I don't know if you really need it. Because the inserters are going to be working so fast, you might need dedicated belts. I'm not really sure. But it's great for like a small size base. That way you don't have to worry about connecting a ton of belts. Anything that crafts really slow also benefits a lot with it. Like things that have a decently high complexity but craft slowly, like robot frames, I imagine would be pretty decent with it. But it has more benefit when you get into mods and you start having things that have like 5,000 intermediates. You think the issue with sushi is that belts are optimized for running fully compressed? Yeah, that's also... You have a lot of belt waste, which in a mega base setting is probably very, very important. We don't have a ton. The amount of sushi we'll have is pretty small compared to like how large our base will be. Our main base is going to be roughly 5% of what we build. So we can afford to have a little bit of like UPS optimization here. Because most of the run is going to be this monstrosity right here. We'll be pasting 15 of these, 10 to 15 of these to produce over 4 million green chips per hour. It's going to be fantastic. That's going to be the end of the run. Each set of this produces 600k. I love how that monstrosity just kills bitrate. That's partially just because I zoomed out so far too. There we go. Does this help? Also, if I stand still, hopefully it's a little bit clearer. Wait, why do I have smoke on? Hold on. I shouldn't have smoke on. Okay, that should help a lot. I didn't realize that was on in this file. I have a lot of things disabled, like smoke, clouds, and particles are disabled for bitrate purposes. It just tessellates, so zooming out just shows you the whole thing together. But it's basically just, we have this grid right, this thing right here, this little stretch that repeats down like 12 times. I think it's about 12 times. And then this one I'm pretty happy with. So we can't read the contents of an underground belt. So instead, and I think this is probably better for UPS anyway. Instead, what we do is at the top, we have a little splitter here that tells all of these inserters to only work if things are backed up. So there is a small delay for everything to work fully. It only starts out working at half speed until the belt's back up, and then it gets a boost, runs full speed. But this prevents these from dying, because these are pretty much guaranteed to exhaust themselves as soon as they're placed. And we can't have that. We can't have half of our outpost just not running. So this logic makes it that they only grab from it if it's sufficiently backed up, and it is way nicer. If we really wanted to, we could put this kind of logic on every single inserter, but the other inserters are what I consider safe. Like they're not likely to brown themselves out, except in very extreme scenarios, like getting one fuel every like 50 minutes or something, which is, you know, not likely. And like that's for a sustained period of time. Like they get one fuel sporadically for a long period of time, they would eventually die. But that's an unrealistic scenario. This one, on the other hand, is pretty much a guarantee. This would happen regardless of belt saturation, pretty much. So we have logic to make it that if this backs up, these don't run, and if we ever run out of fuel, they stop running again. That's why we have the two belts here. That way it will empty itself. We need to stop a belt when an inserter is trying to grab something. Yeah, for the sushi we do. Which is part of the problem. But on the other hand... No, wait. That means we would need a separate network. A burner can grab off a red belt, but not consistently enough for it to be self-feeding fuel at that point. It can grab from a fairly highly saturated red belt. It's just you can't have two inserters grabbing from a red belt. Is pretty much where the line is drawn. Because if these were red belts, it would be fine. Fine enough. But since there's two, it's a bit rough. Can we read the fuel content of a burner inserter? Unfortunately not. You can just read the exact same things you can do a normal inserter. Because that would be cool. That would be an interesting way to do it. Have this one only work if this one is low on fuel, or if this one is full. But yeah, there isn't much we can read with burner inserters, unfortunately. But yeah, for the most part, they can grab from red belts. They can't grab from them great. But as long as it's high saturation, it works. So a lot of what you can do is do a red belt downgraded into a yellow. Because if you do this, these will run consistently, and then these will run consistently once it starts to get sparse, because it will stay compressed. The next idea was to deduct the fuel count by the amount of items it grabbed. If you're talking about the sushi belt still, I don't think we have to worry too much about that. I don't even know if sushi would work here, because it doesn't actually make it doesn't make the output any easier, and that kind of makes this a lot less worth it. Because we still need to have the grid, I think. And then... Can we sushi here? Oh, wait, they don't need to be self-feeding. Because if we're going to have the grid nearby, we might as well use the grid. Like, the only reason to have them be self-feeding here is if we're concerned about that. Okay, so that gives us 4 things that we can put on this belt. Oh, wait, that's enough, right? No, that's everything we need. You were thinking about, in general, finding the amount of fuel. I don't think it might matter in the main base. I think having too much logic on something like this would be rough. Because it would be making it work more consistently, but I think you'd just add a ton of overhead at that point if you're stopping individual belts. And we would have like 40,000 belt individual circuit networks here. If it could increase the reliability of our main base, though, it is worth considering stuff like that. The outpost, I think, is honestly pretty good. I'm very happy with that one. I think there's a couple things I could do to, like, reduce some belt, but that's about it. Yeah, this looks decent. Oh, wait. Is it decent? No, wait. This doesn't have an output. Could it have an output? No, well... This is 4, this is 3. Okay, this doesn't work. I was thinking that we could just output these directly onto the belt and have these connected to a circuit network, but that doesn't actually work, does it? If I want sulfur here as well. If all the inserters are working in sync for the entire circuit production, we only need to sense one inserter is running. That... I don't know how consistent that would be. Like, burner inserters are really bad. Putting them all on, like, some kind of clock, and then making it that they only grab from a belt if it's... Wait, what's the purpose of that? If you're making them all work in sync... No, I don't quite understand the goal. Like, this works. Like, this is, like, pretty much no inserters can die with this. And it's only reading from one belt, so it's already solved. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, any issue with these not having fuel has already been solved here. In a very, like, we read one belt content kind of way. So those ones are pretty good. So we don't need to worry about syncing those up. I have thought about putting a clock on them, but with how slow burner inserters are, I don't know if clocking them is even that useful. Because it's not like you're saving like one action. Like, they're always like barely keeping up with the fuel, with the resource outputs. We might be able to get a little bit from a clock. Not that that's what you're suggesting, but I've been considering a clock and I just couldn't justify it. These have too many inputs. This is so close to working, but it doesn't. Unless... Wait, what if it goes this direction? This might work. So what are we tinkering with here? We're trying to figure out how to make blue science. Oh, this could totally work. Probably not going on the splitter, but this could totally work. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to build blue science before I kept getting sidetracked. Yes, engine sulfurs is the thing we're on about, which this one could potentially use sushi, like something like this. I'm assuming you can't read from a splitter, right? Override stack size 1. Engines less than 1 as well. I'm assuming it works the same way with inserters as it does everything else. Hold. Okay. This doesn't work. This needs to be the outer belt for this to work. It still works. Like, conceptually, this still works. We just need to swap which belt it is. I feel like we need the bigger stack size. Oh, not for this. Not for engines. Engines are so slow. Engines are so slow to produce. And this is just for the output. We have stack size for everything else, but stack size I think stack size can break the circuit logic if we have it set up like this. So I don't want to accidentally break the belt. Okay, so this will have 3 inputs, 1 output. Yeah, that should be fine. It doesn't work with this splitter, which means it should probably actually go the other way around. What is the ratio for assembling the science? The ratio is whatever is fast to build, so 1 to 1, probably. Because we'll also be sending these 2 engines. As in materials, for the blue science in particular, I'm not sure. The ratio really is not a concern right now. Unless you're just talking about how much it needs for the input speed. Yeah, ratio is unimportant because that won't affect the design. It'll just make it that we cut like 2 things from the end of it if it does end up mattering, which is something we can just figure out once we get there. 132, that's an easy ratio to force on a sushi belt. Well, we're not belt limited. We aren't maxing the belt at all. So it's just a 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. That's totally fine. Especially since blue science won't actually have the sushi belt. Blue science doesn't have a sushi. I don't think we'll have sushi. I don't even know if steel should have sushi, actually. The more I'm looking at it, the less I'm thinking sushi is beneficial. Mostly because the output's tricky to do with sushi. I wish I could make it more compact. Maybe I can like go around it with fuel. Because my idea right now is to put sushi for this whole thing. But at that point, all that's saving is 1 input inserter assembler. So we really have no reason to sushi the output. What we should instead do is just the input with gears, pipes, and engines, and that won't be a problem. Yeah, that should not be a problem. Then this outputs onto this belt directly, and then we also have sulfur on this belt. What if we have an intermediary buffer? A buffer as in a chest buffer? Chest buffers are not great. They use a lot of space. Like a lot of space if you have to do them with burner inserters. A belt buffer. Oh, I don't know how a belt buffer would work. Yeah, belt buffer would be fast though. Belt buffers are fast to build. Inserter buffers not so much. Honestly, this is feeling really fast to build, and I'm thinking all the talk of sushi is just unnecessary now because this feels pretty viable. That's in the wrong spot though. But aside from that, this works great. I do like the sushi here. I think because of how this has to output, that makes it it's not necessarily a use sushi in output. But this lets us get steel, iron, and pipe on the same belt. And if we have the belt fully saturated... Actually, wait, we don't even need... It's just gonna have steel on one side and then the sushi gears and... Oh, that's actually gonna be really easy. Oh yeah, this is very, very easy. Oh, this will work great here. Because it's either this or we do the long inserter trick. So we snake a red belt. Oh, red belt. We don't have red belt. We won't have red belt at this point. If there's a solution that doesn't use red belt, we could do it. But we don't have red belt at this point in the run. Okay, yellow belt works. Cool. I was worried it was essential for like belt weaving or some aspect of it. A bunch of on of off belt at either end, then when all the buffers is full, we empty them onto the ring and let it fill again. So we just fill it in bursts. Oh, so we just fill it up to like 100 tile, or we just fill up like 100 steel and then throw it down. That could work. I don't yet. I've been thinking of getting one, especially one to like post ideas, challenge ideas in. Yeah, I've been meaning to actually like set one up. I just keep forgetting to do it. But I've been asked a lot recently, so I should probably get around to that. Maybe that's something, a New Year's resolution, actually get around to making a Discord. Because someone suggested one, it would be great for people to either share their own ideas or share themselves doing their own versions of my runs, which sounds fun. I want to, it'd be cool to see what other people come up with in terms of monstrosities like mouse only runs. See if there's any tricks I didn't discover. Just make one and have your trusted people set it up. Yeah, I could just make one of trusted people. It's more that I would also need a moderator team as well for that. Because when I do the streams, like I don't have, like it's generally just me. But for something that would be online all the time, it would need moderation all the time, and I'm not available all the time. So that's more the logistics I need to figure out of that. Or I could do the extreme approach, have a Discord server where nobody can talk. But that doesn't seem like a great option. I've heard people do that. They use them solely as announcement servers. And their reasoning is, yeah, you don't need to talk to anyone. I think this works though. So this has one set of sushi to appease the sushi people, which is totally fine. If I really wanted to, nice sushi. The outputs. Wait, would that work? Can I just have the inserters go directly onto the belt? I probably could, but I guess that would be a lot more circuits. I guess it doesn't matter that much. Yeah, we can move this down. Will this be adjacent to red? This looks so bizarre to have red chips directly next to gears. Oh, wait. It won't be next to gears. Actually, it probably will. Yeah, I guess I just, maybe I just don't have enough faith with all the things I've seen in some servers. Where do I want this? Honestly, this isn't terrible. It's not, well, it's a bit awkward for where I have the plastic lane. If this gets a dedicated copper, which it probably will, is the red circuit build going to be with coal? No, it will not. The red circuit build will still be using, it won't have any self-feeding in it, I don't think. So we won't have to worry about coal on it. It's also, I don't think the red chip build will have sushi because it is incredibly high throughput. So it doesn't work as well for that. We would have to have a lot of different addition points. So I think that will just be our standard design. I think this works though. There's this awkward gap here, which I don't like. Maybe this should just be farther over. Maybe I'm trying to build it too close to the base. But I think this is probably how blue chips will work, or blue science will work. And then red chips would probably go here. Red chips next to red science. Yeah, that works. And then we have this we can kind of copy. So sushi, honestly, sushi might work here. It's way easier to set up because the other alternative, I think the other alternative requires a really weird staggering of inserters. Don't know if it actually works like I want it to. Let's see if I can look at my other design, see how I built it. Because I think I might have been lazy on my original run. I'm pretty sure it was entirely hand-fed coal. But I don't know if that was this run or a previous design. Okay, so this just used the splitter trick. That's actually, the splitter trick's really easy to build. If I can get the resources going the opposite direction of each other, it's really easy to build. If I can't, it's fairly easy to build. How does it work with... Ooh, how does it work with editor mode? Or with bots, I mean. Or with ghosts? Yeah, with ghosts. Okay, if I have a splitter here, and I have ghost undergrounds, and I place the splitters first. No, I need splitters first. We'll just take these. I'm trying to see how Smart Belt will handle this. I'm assuming it's just going to drag a straight belt, but there's a chance it will underground it. Yeah, the odds were very low. The odds were very low. So that gives us... We can still use that, we just have to hand build it with a bunch of undergrounds. But the idea there is to basically make pseudo long inserters by passing the resources underneath. And then I think if I swap the sides of these, I think I can actually get it to work pretty easily. Is that a full drag? Oh, wait. Does that work? No. No, it's not quite a full drag. It is a partial drag. That's not bad. Oh, wait. Wait. Sorry, I don't build with ghosts very much because I've never done a 100% run. Will the ghosts work? Can I just like hold click? Oh my gosh. That makes things so much simpler. I didn't realize ghosts overrode the direction or the length of the undergrounds. Oh, this is incredibly fast to build then. Well, that changes things. That changes things a lot. That means this is probably faster to set up than sushi. Not cheaper. Well, not faster. I guess it wouldn't be faster. It's not significantly slower to set up would be a better way to phrase it. Oh, but yeah, this is so viable. Okay, and then these would output here. We would have blue science here, which we'd probably output onto the same belt. Unless we have another use for blue science, or unless we want... I mean, we don't have another use for blue science. Unless we have another place we want to produce red chips. Depends if we decide to keep the base at the full version or the half version. I haven't decided how wide this should be, and that affects whether I do 24 or like 48 red chip assemblers. Yeah, this should work. Sushi here could work, but with red belt it's risky. It would be hard to get enough input for that. Yeah, we won't worry about that.
Beep beep taco.
Okay, I like this. Output, very straightforward. Doesn't need an input here. Yo, thanks so much for the Prime and the follow. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I stream most days, except for Wednesday around this time. Mostly because I usually only stream for like 2 to 3 hours. So I'll probably be wrapping up soon. I will be doing a no pipes run on Monday, which will probably have higher resources, but not maxed out resources. So it goes a little bit faster, but I need to make sure oil at least does not change for that one. Because we need the barrels to go as far as they can possibly go for it to be as much of a mess as we need it to be. Does this work? I think that works. Yeah, this is fast to build because ghosts will make this fast to build. If I mess up, everything breaks and I can't fix it. But as long as I don't mess up, it's good. So I'll probably need to practice this build order. Blue science. There's really no reason for me to... Honestly, the amount of added build time for this, if I make these output in the same direction, is probably not worth it. Which makes me think that I should just do this again, right? Should I just forego all that sushi talk? I think after all that talk about sushi, it's not really worth it. Then we can have engines here, sulfur here. And actually, these can go against the grain. So you can just put sulfur on this belt. Because this will align every inserter, and that makes things so much nicer. Because the build speed is already going to be rough. If I can reduce the number of rotations, then it's definitely got to be worth it. Okay, I kind of like this. I might need to flip it. With this new design, I think it should be flipped. You're number one? Probably, yeah. Thanks for the bit. Thanks. Wait, what's this? Oh, no. Is this fine? Yeah, I think that's fine. Yo, Emu Bob, welcome, welcome. We're wrapping up soon, but I would like to get this part done, right? Yeah, I definitely have enough time to get this done. Unless I come up with something really silly again. Like trying to do sushi for it. Why is the throughput of these so high that sushi isn't an option? It's sad. It's a bit unfortunate. This also needs to be closer. We'll worry about the gaps later. We'll probably have to flip all of these vertical belts. Which means, honestly, I shouldn't build them at all. I think that's just going to make things harder. Should I do double output? No, I don't need double output. I probably will do double output just because it's going to be easier to do, just on accident. But I definitely won't intend to do it. Why are burner inserters so expensive? Like they're cheap. They look really cheap, but with the constant cost of fuel and the fact that you need like 2 to 4 times as many, it's very, very rough. And the cost adds up, and the build time adds up. So this gets the same input. I do like how this has the same design. That honestly is very, very big. The fact that these are built the same way. We could do like a little L drag, no rotations, at least to start with. Engines, and then engines, I guess there's not a great spot for engines now here. I think what I decided is I'll do, honestly, I might do sushi. I still think it is worth doing sushi for the engine input, because that is actually very fast to build. Yeah, there's really no reason not to do that for engines, because I don't think engines are going to use more than half a belt of each resources. That's a lot. For our, what, 20 engine assemblers that we have? Yeah, that's gonna be fine. Oh, that's not an engine though, that's a pump. So then this just needs one input. And then that's the outputs not onto that belt though. I feel like this is a bit wasteful of rotations now, though. We could waste... If I waste belt, it's easier to make. But bots have to fly across this a lot. Which means compactness also matters for 100%, which is weird. I'm usually only care about build speed for the most part. But compactness and reliability are important as well, especially considering how not compact our base will be. But if I wanted to do this, I would need a... I could do the input on this side. If I really wanted to. Yeah, that's not a problem. Wait, it's in the wrong spot. Yeah, that works. Then we probably don't need this here. Because now this can just be red chips and sulfur. So yeah, we're adding a rotation to remove one of these sections. I like that. Copy this over a few times. We'll just drag here. Wait, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Smart belt, why have you forsaken me? Smart belt sometimes breaks on me sometimes. It sometimes breaks on me sometimes. It's finicky to learn how to use smart belt. It's like, it won't do it if one of them is already placed. But if like half of it's placed, it also won't do it. It's really weird. I thought it only mattered on the output. But it works if this is a belt here, but it doesn't work if it's an underground. And that's just weird to me. If both of them worked, or both of them didn't work, I think it would be fine. But the fact that it alternates is very, very confusing. Okay, you know what? This is not too bad, because then this is just one vertical drag. Actually, wait, that's really easy. No, this is actually really clean to build, I think. I feel like it shouldn't be, but it is. This has red chips and sulfur on the same belt. This gets engines from the other side, so let's actually mark that. What's a good way to mark stuff? I could probably use I've seen some people mark stuff with combinators. That seems reasonable. These are straightforward. There's only one thing that can go into engines if everything's on one belt, but blue chips always throw me off. So that means blue is actually going to be over here. And then it'll... Oh, wait. This is actually nicely in line with science. This works really well. I feel like it shouldn't, but it does. Well, these don't work. But the rest of it works. Now we can copy it, right? Now it tessellates. Okay, so as long as we can make this like 24 long, we're good. What is this? 18. Okay, that's a little bit more than 28 long. Oh, but we can stagger it. We can go here. I don't think that helps, but it can go here. Wait, these aren't technically on the same grid, so I need to not try to line those up. So that's 18. We need another 6. Oh, is that why you said 6 to midnight? Because I keep saying 6. Does this has a weird gap. I don't like this weird gap. But aside from that, I really like this. I really like this design. You know what? I'm just gonna go flush with the labs. I think that's the strat. Oh, let's just undo a few times. There we go. These should just be adjacent to red chips, and because we're not doing anything with these labs later, we can just cover them, and we can move them down a tile too, which will also help. Perfect. And now it doesn't matter that we go past it. And if we really wanted to, we could load blue science on this side. The other option is to just kind of steal blue science through the middle, which I don't really like, but it is something we could do. If I really wanted to, I could just rely on Smart Belt to do it and filter it out that way. Honestly, that would work. That wouldn't be terrible to set up. This isn't as many red chip assemblers as I want, though. But it is enough to start. It is enough to get me to bots. Actually, no, it is enough to get me to bots. But it wastes a lot of assemblers here. It wastes a lot of assemblers here. So what we could do is have this pasted for more red chips later that finishes out the lane. Honestly, I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. So then I don't have to worry about this awkward thing by hand. I don't have to worry about leaving a gap for blue science. Although it's not hard to leave a gap for blue science. Because I can use any row that is off the grid as a resource lane if I just cut the assembler. Like if I needed to pass something through here, I could just skip over this lane and like pass rocket fuel through here at any given point. As long as I don't use the grid as the travel point. The grid is pretty important for keeping track of, well, for keeping things running consistently. But anything within the grid is fair game. Yeah, that feels very compact. It feels like I'm missing something. Oh, I'm technically I am missing pipes and gears. So I am missing something. Which honestly, can you output these directly onto the belt? Is that something you can do with sushi? I've never actually tried. Maybe I should try that before I set it up. Let's see, gears. The output wouldn't be fast enough. That's fine. I can always do extra. Oh wait, we still need a fuel input. Yeah, we could technically do read belt contents, hold. We could probably just output these directly onto the belt if we really wanted to. I'm assuming they work the same way that pipes do. We might break things with stack size though, so let's get rid of those. They might balance themselves out, but it's really not something I want to risk. Then this needs to produce pipe. And then just for testing purposes, I'm just going to give them some fuel and give them some iron. To see if it actually works. Because I don't actually know. I'm assuming it works. But I don't know if you need combinators to make it work. Oh. Once again, I'm forgetting that you need power if you want to use assembly machines, because I've been placing burner inserters for so long. I forget power exists. Okay, it's going to be a weird pattern, but I think that works, right? No, maybe... No, I don't think that works. It seems like it almost works. That they're dropping in like weird spots. How would I test this? I guess I could just throw everything in a chest right now. And then just clear the belt. What do I get out of that? Actually, that's pretty balanced. I feel like this probably won't break things. It might not work perfectly, but I don't think it's set up in a way that can break. Maybe if I have a gap, that would also be better. Like maybe that's the problem. Because they will be spaced out. Actually, no, they will be spaced out. That might make a difference. This one died. Whoops. There we go. We need to give them fuel. Forgot we were just kind of cheating to test it. Then we need more iron. I think they've all stopped running. Yeah, I don't think that works well. We'll need to figure that out next time. I don't think sushi here is technically necessary. If we can't get the inserters to work in a way that I like, or a way that maximizes the throughput, because that's part of the problem. If I do sushi on the output inserters, I can't have them run full speed. And if they're not running full speed, I have to do extra assemblers, and then all the time I save not having to set up a single splitter is then wasted. Honestly, yeah, actually, yeah, there's absolutely no reason for me to do... There's absolutely no reason for me to design it like that. It doesn't have I don't think it has a single benefit. Because I could just do a normal one. Good evening, Yadawada. Welcome, welcome. Does this work? Yes, but I'm grabbing from the wrong section. There we go. Input, input. Okay, gears. I don't actually know the ratios for these. I'll have to calculate them. It depends if I have steam engines produced here, which I might. Honestly, this is a good place to do steam engines. Oof. Oh, the burner stuff. Yeah, it's always a bit of an oof. Okay, this I think works. Currently working on blue science in a way that is consistent and easy to build. Mostly easy to build. But consistent also is important. That's not how these should work. Ah, whatever. I don't... Oh, they're not powered yet. You didn't even see the monster furnace? Oh, the thing to the left. Yeah, we'll go over... I'll finish this real quick, then I'll go over what we already have built, which is... Sure is something. Let's put it that way. There we go. I don't think we need to connect it that way, but just for testing purposes, I'm just gonna paste it wherever. And then small electric poles, we can just again, just for testing purposes, we're just gonna throw them down. Okay, so this will copy... Where is it at? Where is it at? Where's my labs? Oh, they're farther to the right. This will copy this logic. Yeah, I want to do a 100% run, so I'm working on 100% base right now. Which, sure is a base. It sure is a base. There we go, that's why it didn't work. Okay. So we need... I don't remember the numbers. Which one gets the 2? Which one is the 1? Okay, this left one gets the 1. Okay, so that's this. This gets 2. Then which one's on the input? So that would be height, gears to the right. Okay, I think this should work. It's not looped. Okay, maybe not the best sushi if that's not set up correctly. Oh wait, this is going a different direction. You think the last time you stopped in, you were doing the pipeless run? Yeah, we're doing the pipeless run again on Monday. Because I realized something that I missed. That I couldn't justify not having... I couldn't justify not fixing it. Because it's pretty important. I could have made fluids so much easier, and I just missed something dumb. Just do a 1-to-1 ratio of refineries and fluids, and you save like 50 assemblers. 50 to 100 assemblers. A pipeless run. Beating the game without placing any pipes. You can build pipes for machines, but for the most part, you either just build fluids where they need to go, and then you directly unbarrel into them, or you direct fill them like right next to the refinery, or you send a barrel all the way around the entire base. Can we use tanks and pumps? I didn't let myself. It's simple, but it's messy. Not letting myself use tanks and pumps made it a lot more complicated. Because you can't process all three inputs to a refinery. Yeah, it was a messy base. It wasn't super hard, but it was also a non-trivial amount of barrels. And really hard to get proper ratios. You can't get proper ratios. Okay, this is not working. I think I have it facing the wrong direction. Oh, yes. I see the problem. I wonder why my circuit logic isn't working. Huh. There we go. That looks a lot better. These should not be disabled. Okay, I don't know why that got held up. Still wrong? Yep. Yes, it is. There we go. Fluid trains? You can't use fluid trains. Because pumps weren't allowed. Fluid trains would have made it pretty simple, yeah. But that's why I didn't allow pumps, partially. Because pumps are basically just a too long pipe, and tanks are basically just a corner pipe. So we forbid both of them. We were able to use boilers and flamethrowers. It's still wrong, isn't it? Is it still wrong? I don't know if it's wrong. I don't know if it's broken or if I just never clear the belt. I think I just never cleared the belt. It couldn't fix itself. Yeah, I thought I held F long enough, but I guess I didn't. There we go. That looks much better. Okay, cool. And then steel just goes on to the far side. Which, that one is not going to have to be sushi. That one can just side load. No problem. Loader, perfect. And go down. Wait, that's not right. There we go. Okay, cool. That should be engines done. And honestly, we have this weird gap, but this isn't too bad. If we can do something, if we can figure out something to put in this gap, I think will be great. Like maybe we can put more plastic there, because I can't really have a giant gap in the middle of the base. Yeah, as long as we figure something out. I think we're golden. But yeah, the furnaces. So this is the furnace setup. It is a lot slower to build than in electric inserters, like half the speed, a third of the speed to build compared to electricity. It's also way more expensive because of the undergrounds. You can also use splitters, but splitters are less reliable and they're kind of the same speed to build. The main thing is they're less reliable. And not more expensive. They're about pretty much exactly the same price as undergrounds, but you need copper instead of just lots of iron. And getting lots of iron is a lot easier than balancing. And also doing circuits. So that's why we have undergrounds here. A lot of times when someone does splitters, you'll see, or burner stuff, you'll see this design. This is not reliable. Or sorry, it would be on the output. But this is not reliable. It is very likely to brown out. You have to hand feed it or make sure it gets coal way before you set up the inserters. So I'm not a huge fan of those kinds of designs. Which is why you see vertical rows of coal instead. Yeah, these are pretty nice. It's about as dense as you can get a burner furnace lane. Because they're not going to be great. Like they're never going to be great. So it's just like, can you get it as dense as you can? That's your only goal. And then, yeah, that's the main thing here, the furnace lanes. But then, to get around this later, we do direct feed we do direct feed furnaces directly into the assemblers. This is because we need about, I don't know how many assemblers we need. We need about, how many is in here? 370. We need about 5,000 assemblers, roughly. So about 7,500 furnaces. And if we can direct feed them into the assembly machines, that saves like 20 to 30% of the inserters for that. So that's why this is designed in such a weird way. But it decreases the insert requirement drastically. But this is a very messy furnace lane, but very, very solid outpost. We'll be pasting 10 of these towards the end, or at least 10 to... I think 10's ambitious, 8 to 15, but probably more like 8 before I run out of processing power. You could save 2 belts between the undergrounds on the vertical coal belts. I could, but this is hand built, so it's not worth it. Wait. Where could I? Oh, yeah. For these ones. Yeah. The second half of the base will save those. The first half won't. So the future lanes that are going to be built entirely by bots will be built that way. Since these are just going to be hand built, they'll just be dragged. But yeah, the things will have that gap there. Yeah, because of Smart Belt. Smart Belts makes things so much faster that it's worth spending 2 extra belt. But later we will have that gap there. Because I mean, it's not much, but, you know, it's free at that point. Just completely free to go for. The only downside of doing that way is you don't have a backup, because if they do ever brown out on the input belt, or if they ever exhaust themselves on the input, if you have this belt here, you can always add an inserter via like a blueprint later, or just a ghost, and eventually it will get built. Which is nice, but usually only happens if you really screw up my coal supply. So as long as I'm on top of overproducing coal, we should be fine. Especially since we'll have solid fuel probably around this point, by the time that kind of issue starts to reveal itself. Oh, sorry, this is not muted. Oh, what is happening here? Huh, that looks really bizarre. Master sounds mute. There you go. Sorry about the double, the double Factorio sounds. I was pulling up the no pipe thing to show what my base looked like and why I want to make a new one. Yeah, that's the burner stuff. We'll be working on that for a long while. This is like a 1/10 of the base, probably. Because we also need to figure out how to do power in a very expandable way that we can just paste down. We can't use nuclear. We could technically use solar, but that feels against the spirit of things. But I'm not banning it. We're doing enough solar to get the achievement, and that's it. Power has to be exclusively steam engines, because we can't mine nuclear. We can't mine uranium. That complicates things. Or it doesn't complicate things, but it means our power plant needs to be way bigger. For no real reason. It should be up. Yep, there we go. Graphics. Let's put the sound back on now. Okay, so I think pipeless was here, right? I think it was the save. Yeah, no pipes. With Christmas. Oh, wait. Right, I ended it on a Christmas one. That's fine. We'll just load it without it. It doesn't break anything. Just remove stuff. So yeah, the no pipes one, overall, the first, like, you know, hour and a half wasn't any different. But then we did some fun things with advanced. Advanced oil was when things started to get a little bit messy, because I told myself I wanted to do oil cracking, which was a mistake. I didn't need to. I just really wanted to do oil cracking. But yeah, you have to bring barrels all the way to them, and then you have to recycle the empty barrels, which it looks like we didn't do. Oh, the empty barrels get recycled elsewhere, right? I was like, this looks like it's working. But yeah, pretty much it basically just means everywhere you have a fluid, you have an assembly machine going directly into it. You have let's see, concrete was pretty cool. Sulfuric acid was pretty neat. Or blue chips were pretty neat. It's just fun seeing a sulfuric acid unbarreler next to every single blue chip assembler. I really liked that. Rocket fuel was actually, you know, same way. So all the liquid assembly machines looked like that. Just 2 rows of assemblers with an input and an output. You were limited on throughput significantly, but it worked pretty well. The hardest part was just this, and realizing that the throughput of barrels was like more than one. We used like more than one red belt of barrels throughout our entire base, which I was not anticipating. So that's what made it a lot harder than it should have been, and which is why I want to redo it. Because I mean, it was supposed to only be like 4 hours, realistically, but because we ran into barrel throughput problems, and I didn't have a design to work around the barrel throughput problems, things got a little bit messy. Also, just for fun, I turned flamethrowers into pipes, because I was allowed to use flamethrowers, and that allowed me to get heavy oil barrels, which I could send into cracking. Which again, unnecessary. I gained absolutely nothing from cracking heavy oil at all. I actually lost more than I gained because the amount of barrel overhead it added. But it was fun. I'm definitely glad I went with it. And then you also have to use boilers as pipes, because that's the only way to get water and another fuel into a machine, or you can just do directly on on the water. Like if you just had an offshore pump. Actually, no, I don't think you can do directly on the water. Either way, you still need boilers. Yeah, you need to use boilers as pipes. You're allowed to use boilers as pipes because they're larger. They're larger and a lot harder to fit in than just a pump. Also, you need them for power. But yeah, well, two things. Mostly the fact that they're completely required. Burner mod? I don't actually like the burner mod. I like the idea of it, but I'm not a huge fan. I prefer doing burner challenges fully vanilla. Because there isn't really a huge change in complexity. And it just feels, doing something vanilla just feels a lot, it feels a lot more creative than just a mod that removes something. Generally. If it felt a lot different, I would probably feel different about it. But it's only a little bit different. So I just go with the vanilla. Because there is a mod that just makes it that everything's a burner inserter. And pretty much the only difference it makes for any of my designs would be, let's say I have iron here, and I have coal here. Instead of putting a power pole here, I put an inserter there, and that's it. That's the only change that would be made. That would be the only change that would be made for most of the base, and then we would also have inserters here. So the only thing it would really actually affect is oil, but everything else would just be a one-to-one replacement of power poles to inserters. So I just figured, why not? But I mean, I like the mod. I like that it exists. For casual playthroughs, having everything non-vanilla is cool. The guy that had like 1,000 radar to scan the random detection range? What? I have no idea what that means. Did somebody just like place way too many radars? Yeah, offshore pumps. Can these work? No, okay, yeah. Offshore pumps directly into an oil refinery doesn't work. Unless you had a very awkward landfill. You know, that might be honestly, worth considering. Honestly worth considering. I feel like it shouldn't be. But I could avoid using I could completely avoid using boilers as pipes if I really wanted to. I could restrain myself to only using boilers here. Cuz the idea of building my entire liquid processing on the lake sounds really appealing. It sounds also like a recipe for disaster. But yeah, if you don't know this, if you take an offshore pump and put landfill over it, it becomes a water well pump, which I think is cool. Like they leave it there and they just change its name. It's practically useless knowledge, but I think maybe if you're making a blueprint and if you're just placing landfill everywhere, you don't actually like break everything. That's probably why they have it. He had thousands of radars that he effectively had non-stop live chunk updates on his whole map. That's a lot of radars. I use radars occasionally for vision, and even then I forget it. But yeah, I wish I could do... Okay, if I could do no boilers at all, I totally would. But solar power is a bit too late for that. So okay, I think I'll definitely allow myself water for boilers. But I think I might ban stuff like this in the revisit. Because if I'm making things easier, I should also make things harder. It was like 20 gigawatts of nuclear for the radars. Wait, what? 20 gigawatts for radars? Aren't radars like 90 kilowatts each? No, wait, they're like 300. No, they're pretty costly. That's still insane. Like, what is that? Like 6,000 radars? 20,000. Oh, wait. Or is it 60,000 radars? Is that 60,000 radars? Or am I off? Did I forget a number? I think I forgot a number. Probably 6,000. 6,000 sounds a lot more reasonable. No, I might have been right. I might have been right the first time. That's a lot of radars. I have definitely never had that many radars. 60K sounds more reasonable. I don't think that's a sentence anybody said. 60,000 radars is not reasonable. 60 to 10K. I mean, anything above 5,000 is still an insane amount of radars. But yeah, that's it for me today. Yeah, we'll be doing the revisit of this on Monday. What day is it today? Saturday? Yeah, we'll be doing the revisit later. And if we have this new tech of just direct feeding into the refineries, I think we can settle for also doing this, because I like the idea of having a lake base. I don't know, something about it sounds fun. So yeah, we'll be finishing that. It's not going to be super wild, but it's nice to have some less crazy challenges mixed in with the really mentally straining ones. Because they're still fun to do. And then who knows, maybe one day we can just combine all of them and then it will be a complete mess. But that's when I run out of ideas. You have 3 radars in your main huge bus. I always forget them. I always forget them in like the middle of my base, so I go to like upgrade something later, and then it's just, I don't have radar vision in my entire base, but I do have radar vision of some random oil outpost. Like, I don't have priorities. Great. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Hope we all have a wonderful evening. Peace.